Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. His land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a deer. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
You want a sports degree that is beyond the game? A degree that immerses you from day one and launches you into the business side of sports. With a sports management major from IUPUI's School of Health and Human Sciences, you'll have insider access to sports professionals and will learn from faculty with years of teaching and industry experience. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sport industry career.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Oh, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
You're good at keeping the car clean. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time. to pure spirit, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is game time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
High school football fans, welcome back to Friday nights, to pure spirits, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school football.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Friday night. This is Indiana high school football. This is your IHSAA.
We're at Zionsville West Middle School, the home field for Covenant Christian High School. It's homecoming for the Warriors this evening, and we have a beautiful night for it indeed. You're watching Warrior football on IndianaSRN tonight. Covenant Christian plays host to the Tigers of Indianapolis Tindley. Good evening, everybody. Alongside Keith Myers, I'm Kurt Darling. Well, after dropping their season opening game to Speedway now 4 weeks ago, Covenant has been on a tear, having won their last 3 games since that loss, and by growing margins of victory at that. But they face a Tindley squad that is fresh off of a bye week after beating South Decatur 38-14 2 weeks ago. Keith Myers, good to be with you here this evening. Certainly looking forward to a good broadcast and a good game here tonight.
This should be a great ball game. Both of these teams are playing well at late. As you mentioned, a bye week. And for Tindley, that might be the best thing they could do. They could have watched the Covenant Christian game handling George Washington, an opponent they will have later on in the year, 56-0, and probably digress. So Tindley has a lot of speed, especially on the outside. It could be a speed game because I think Tindley could be a little bit faster than Covenant Christian.
And, of course, talking to head coach Eric Cottle of Covenant Christian this week, He talked about how they had that season-opening loss to Speedway, certainly kind of a shell-shocking loss to say the least after what they went through just the previous year, going 15-0 and winning a state championship. But he called that loss humbling, and needless to say, it was kind of a good reality check for this team, and now it seems to have paid off in dividends as they've won 3 in a row.
And look at Speedway. Look at what Speedway has done since that win. I think they have not lost a game. Speedway is still undefeated, a very good team, now in 3A. So you had a 3A opponent, 1A opponent, rival game, and it's over. And it's the neat thing, because I talked to Evan the other day as well, and he says, that game is long over. We need to concentrate day after day after day and get better. And I think that might be a case tonight of them getting better than what they did last week. And if that's the case, we could see 60 on the scoreboard, I think.
They have gotten close to that margin twice so far this year. They scored 53 points against Crispus Attucks in a 53-6 win there, and then they shut out Indianapolis Washington just last week by a final score of 56-0. Needless to say, they've gotten a pretty good rhythm down. Now they just have to keep it going through the rest of the season.
Yeah, you know, you look at their schedule. Next week they play a tough game. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But you look at their schedule. They play Heritage, they play Clarksville, they play Park Tudor, who's played very, very well of late. And in a really surprised team that's haven't won many games, but has battled them every year, and that's Purdue Poly. So their schedule is going to be very interesting.
And also an interesting schedule here are the Tindley Tigers. You have them under head coach Melvin Graham in his second year. He is 4-8 in that regard. They come off that bye after that win over South Decatur, but they have Coveted Christian tonight, and then you have teams like Purdue Polytechnic and Westell before they take on Heritage Christian later on.
Yeah, it could be an interesting season as we are in Week 5, which is unbelievable. Already in Week 5. Ready to play. It just seemed like last week we were in Week 1, and just a couple of weeks ago we were in our meetings getting ready for this. It has gone fast, and it always does.
Indeed it does. This broadcast is copyrighted by IndianaSRN and the Indiana High School Athletic Association for the private use of our audience. These pictures, videos, and audio will, without the express written consent and permission of the IHSAA, is strictly prohibited. We'll take our first time out. When we come back, we'll dive more into the rosters and some keys to the game, as well as a look at the IndianaSRN polls. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Warrior Football on IndianaSRN.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
First up, Chloe Carlson.
God bless it.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Back live here at Zionsville West Middle School for homecoming for Covenant Christian High School as they play host to the Indianapolis Tindley Tigers. Some 1A football action here on Indiana SRN. Alongside Keith Myers, I'm Kurt Darling. Keith, let's go ahead and take a look at the Indiana SRN polls as they come out every week or so. We are certainly proud to have them for the week of September 12th of 2021. So the 1A polls as they stand right now for Indiana SRN. Lutheran still has the top spot in Class 1A. South Adams, the team that Covenant Christian played last year in the state finals, they are number 2. Park Heritage is number 3. Adams Central coming in at number 4. And Covenant Christian, the team you are seeing here tonight, coming in at number 5.
That Park Heritage team is on Indiana SRN tonight. They are playing Greencastle at Greencastle's homecoming. That could be a great game because the matchups, and I looked at the matchups, that could be a 7-point game. Could be an interesting ball game, Kurt.
You have Jarrett Lewis and C.J. Benberry on the call of that broadcast here on the Indiana SRN family of networks. Going to number 2A now, you have Fort Wayne Bishop Lures, the dominant team out of 2A so far here this season at number 1. But Heritage Christian, they are number 2. You can catch them on Indiana SRN here from occasionally as well. Eastbrook number 3, Tipton number 4, and East Side of Fort Wayne coming in at number 5.
Tipton's the surprise there. I like Heritage Christian. Fort Wayne Lord's going to keep that number 1 position until they get beat.
3A, you have Brebeuf Jesuit, rather. Then you have West Lafayette, Gibson Southern, Tri-West. The Bruins coming in at number 4. And then Mount Vernon of Posey County coming in at number 5.
Posey County, Mount Vernon's very good, undefeated. Play a weaker schedule. Brebeuf, man, they are the real deal. Saw them 3 times already. They're good, very good.
And definitely they are. In fact, actually, you know what? Let's save the back half of the polls for halftime. How about that?
Let's do that. Okay.
We will do that. So we've gone through the first 3 classes. We will go through the second half of the polls, going through halftime as well, as both teams have taken the field here for tonight's contest between Tindley and Covenant Christian.
And my wife will be very happy with that. Now, that's a teaser. She'll like that, Kurt. She'll give you an A+ for a teaser.
I mean, you pay me and you pay yourself to keep eyes on this screen.
Right.
So that's definitely how we do this. So about a minute away from National Anthem here right now. But, Coach, looking at these 2 teams here tonight, obviously they're both going to be looking for a win here, especially Tindley, trying to make sure they can at least stay on track to stay at least 500 on the season. But Covenant Christian looking to get a win here tonight. But they have a lot of weapons that they definitely want to use, and of course you'll be seeing a lot of quarterback Tony Flatt for the Warriors.
Tony Flatt is the real deal. Last year he was playing defense and also caught the ball. This year he's now the quarterback and done really nice. I'm real impressed with Will Lyons and Ethan Sparks on the line. And the Buckley kid had 2 interceptions last week. We don't have it as a key look. But this team can beat you anywhere. Defense, offense, and special team could be an interesting night.
Indeed they can. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Piper Logistics. In 2002, Piper Logistics was established with the encouragement and financial support of a spirited customer who helped Greg and Tim develop their vision. If you need something transported, contact Piper Logistics at 317-395-1023. Once again, that number 317-395-1023. You have the Tindley Tigers playing host to the Covenant Christian Warriors here tonight on Indiana SRN. We'll take a quick timeout. Then kickoff is coming at you next right here on Indiana SRN.
Hey folks, good to be with you for tonight's game. My name is Andy Simpson and I'm a licensed IHSAA football official, and welcome to Friday Night Football powered by Indiana SRN. On behalf of the 340 football officials, the IHSAA, the crew here at Indiana SRN, we hope you enjoyed tonight's game, and more important, don't forget to subscribe to the Indiana SRN YouTube page. As you're watching tonight's contest, I'm going to show you a few of our signals that will help you better understand the information we are trying to convey. Touchdown, safety, first down, holding or illegal use of hands, encroachment, or offsides commonly known, false start or illegal formation on the offense, or a free kick, scrimmage violation, face mask, intentional grounding, roughing the passer, clipping, illegal shift, illegal motion, illegal block, pass interference by the offense or the defense, delay of game, and the one signal we dislike and you as fans don't like seeing, unsporting. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight and following us on IndianaSRN. You can also tune in to the Football Weekly Show and Coach's Show every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on IndianaSRN.org. Finally, if you've ever thought about becoming an IHSAA official, www.ihsaa.org and click on the Officials tab or call the IHSAA office at 317-846-6601. Now, sit back and enjoy the game.
Pregame festivities coming to a conclusion here at Zionsville West Middle School, the home field for the coveted Christian Warriors, as they celebrate homecoming tonight, as they also take on the Tigers of Indianapolis-Tindley. Once again, Keith Myers alongside me. It was Kurt Darling alongside him as well. So, Coach Myers, you've got two teams looking for a win here tonight. What are the keys to the game for both of these teams to be successful here this evening?
I've never done this ever, but you got to win the toss. If you win the toss, you defer. You got to play defense and then hope you get good field position, and then you need a score. I believe you got to score every possession in the first half to win this game. I think it could be that close. I think also turnovers. If you turn over the ball, you know you're not going to win a game. And then penalties. We have seen a lot of penalties called in the last 4 weeks. And a lot of that is just pure chippiness, and you got to stay underneath control. I think the guy who scores last is going to win the game. How about that?
Well, that seems like as good a theory as any there, Keith Myers. So, and now let's take a look a little bit here at the Tindley Tigers. We haven't really talked a whole lot about them throughout the pregame, but obviously looking at their roster, a very talented roster nonetheless, a lot of athletes, and they have a very large quarterback in Dion Richmond, standing at 6'5", 200 pounds, and only a sophomore, but he has thrown 3 interceptions, no touchdown passes so far this year. In fact, in the previous game, Tyre Miller came in at quarterback from wide receiver and threw for 2 touchdowns and was 4 of 7 for 71 yards in that win over South Decatur.
Yeah, I think you got to be patient because what they have is that two-headed monster there. Both guys can play quarterback. Both guys can play wide receiver. Both of them are very quick. It'd be very interesting. At 6'5", you can see over the line of scrimmage. That could be an advantage for him looking down the field.
So Covenant Christian won the toss, and as you theorized there, Coach Keith Myers, Covenant has deferred to the second half. So we will be seeing Tindley with the football first here in this contest. And as we talked about earlier, Melvin Graham, the head coach of Tindley, in his second year as the head coach. He is 4-8 after his first year and some change. Eric Cottle, the head coach of Covenant Christian. His first year as the head coach of Covenant Christian, but he has actually been a coach on this football team for the last 7 years, whether it be a coordinator on offense or any other specialty in that regard. And talking to him earlier this week, he's literally been here literally minus a year since this program first started at Covenant Christian, and he has been able to watch it build into what it is right now.
And the amazing thing is when you talk to him, the enthusiasm that he has as his coordinator and now as a head coach, and he will tell you, I don't know why I'm doing it, but I love doing it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Sean Lyons, his assistant, was the head coach last year, and Sean goes, I'm glad he's doing it. So, the coaching staff, and they've been nucleus, have all been together about 5-6 years. That's a good thing. Last year they went through a tough change and went through and won a state championship. So adversity, these kids know adversity. Coaching staff know the adversity of this program. Going to be a pretty fun ball game.
And you mentioned it right there, Coach, is the fact that they were able to win their first 4 games of the season, and then they go through that coaching change. Sean Lyons picks up the reins, and they literally do not skip a beat.
In fact, offensively, they increased point-wise week after week. In that state championship game, you go back to that, Kurt, and I watch that occasionally. They're down with 4 minutes to play in that championship game and come back and won, and it was a defensive stop, or they could have lost that game. Incredible run for them last year.
So you'll be seeing Luke Munoz handling the kicking duties here tonight. Talking to Coach Cottle just yesterday, Jack Fulbright and Rapognal will not be playing tonight due to disciplinary reasons. But still a good kick there from Luke Munoz to put it into the end zone for a touchback.
And the ball comes out to the 20-yard line in high school football. 5 officials tonight in high school football, and we do have a 40-second play clock that will be in tune for us tonight.
And again, once again, that's Trey Rapognal and Jack Fulbright, who will not be playing here this evening. Fulbright, who normally handles the kicking duties. So now we have our first look at the Tindley Tigers under Dion Richmond at quarterback, standing all of 6'5", but has certainly had a rough year throwing the football. He is 18 of 47 with 3 interceptions. Still, he has plenty of time. Hits his receiver over the middle. That's his tight end, Joseph Glenn, and he's able to get out of bounds for a nice gain.
Nice job by Glenn in the flat. Nice to pass. And you can see the sun could be the problem tonight early in the game.
This stadium facing to the east, so you have the sun to the backs of everybody on the home bleachers here in this ball game. Richmond in the gun yet again, facing a 4-man front from Covenant Christian. And here comes the blitz, and they go with the run right out of the gate. And the handoff is to Hampton, it appears, and indeed it is, and that's for a minimal gain, maybe a yard.
18 carries, 231 yards, 4 touchdowns for that young man this year.
And so Davion Hampton, he also has 5 receptions for 50 yards. His longest reception is 31 yards coming earlier this season.
How do you like to no huddle here early in the game?
Taking their time here are the Tigers. Richmond back to pass, heaves it along the sideline, and it's going to be intercepted by Munoz. He stops short and he tries to take it back. He gets across the 50 along the sideline, shakes a tackle, but they're going to say he stepped out of bounds before that. Nevertheless, some solid play there by Luke Munoz in the defensive backfield, working the overthrow and getting the ball here early for the Warriors.
The thing about Munoz, he didn't know he had the ball and yelled ball, and the blocks downfield, impressive. Return that ball a good 35, 40 yards.
Let's take a look at the replay right here as Dion Richmond just overthrew his receiver here a little bit.
A little bit too much air underneath the ball. So he caught that at the 30, Kurt. He had some great blocks down the field.
So they're going to say he stepped out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. And now we have Tony Flatt, who kicks it out to his receiver. That is going to be Neighbors. John Neighbors, who is the starting running back here for this Covenant Christian squad. He has certainly been on a tear this season with 2 100-plus rushing yard games.
And Flatt had great position there, took his time, 3-step drop, excellent job. Good for, 12 yards.
And so a good first down pitch and catch right there. Flatt in the pistol again. And on the read option here, Flatt's going to keep it for the time being, and now he pitches it out to Neighbors before he steps out of bounds at about the 15. They're going to mark him down inside the 15, maybe around the 12.
And what I like about that play is Tindley stretched that out, but when they stretched it out, they're still getting yardage, and Flatt held that ball for a good 7-8 yards before he pitched the ball. Nice play. Neighbors.
Of course, head coach Eric Cottle calling the offensive plays here. That just goes to show you how versatile this team can be.
Yes, sir. It's good when the offensive coordinator is also the head coach, because he can get the credit and gets the complaints.
Ticking inside of 10 minutes here, and we have a whistle before the snap. We have a flag down on the field.
Looks like we got an encroachment.
The flag came from the near line judge. And it looks like it was, in fact, an encroachment penalty. And so it'll now be first down, and looks like it's goal to go here. Flatt has some time, has to shed off the pressure. They're going to blow the play dead as he was stopped. And he is still down. And it looks like he took a little bit of a hit, but he's going to shake it off and get up under his own power.
He was in the grass, so to speak. We don't have that in high school football, but definitely in the grass. And then he threw the ball up in the air. You should not do that. Okay, they gained 5 yards on the incomplete pass, and then they set it up correctly.
So they had it at the original line of scrimmage.
Yes.
And so they have the ball back now to the 11-yard line. 2nd down and goal to go here for the Warriors. Handoff is to Neighbors, follows his blockers, gets some of the penalty, gets some of the sack yardage back, and is down at about the 7.
I like how Neighbors just looks for the hole and then goes and runs right through it. That offensive line is making some big little plays here and nice little holes here.
You see, you're going to be seeing a lot of John Neighbors tonight, but don't be surprised when you see other players such as Brock Buckley, Jeremiah Dowdell, and Noah Bryant possibly getting some touches here this evening.
I like on our list, he listed like 7 or 8 guys. So
Flat goes out to the right side, and they're going to say the ball is live. No, they're going to call him down. And no, it's a fumble recovery by Tindley. That seems to be the call on the field right now. The officials are going to converse. And it is a fumble recovered by Tindley. So a rare miscue here by Covenant Christian in the early going.
Yeah, again, looked like he was down on the ground and popped out, but they ruled it was a fumble, and here we go.
So the Tigers, after committing a turnover of their own, force Covenant to commit a turnover of their own, and now they take over at their own 10-yard line.
And it looked like that was Jack Fulbright that fumbled the football, and I thought we were going to scratch him tonight, but that was the number that fumbled the football. We'll double-check on that for you.
Hampton on the carry, and he falls back.
This is when you hold him in this position to get really good field position on the punt.
Getting more clarity. It looks like that was actually maybe Gavin Tyndall.
Okay, there we go. Thank you.
On the reception there. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 here after a no-gain run by Hampton. Richmond gives the ball, throws it out to the left side, has Glenn, and again a minimal gain for the Tigers. And so it'll now be third down. And the Tigers just having a little bit of trouble getting some rhythm going on offense here. It looked like they had a little bit, but then the interception just snuffed that out.
4 guys in the box, 5 guys in the box now for Covenant.
Richmond, the lefty, dumps it off to his running back. That's Tierre Miller on the reception. For correction, that's actually Davion Hampton. And he's just not quite to first down yardage. So it'll be 4th down and about 6. And you'll have the punt team come on here for the Tigers to give the ball up.
And if you're Covenant Christian, you did exactly what you needed to do.
And so it'll be Victor Roberts putting the ball away for Tindley. He's averaging about 30 yards a punt. His long this year is 38. As Tindley making sure all the personnel is set. Long snap, and it's finally taken away there by Roberts, and it only goes straight up into the air and only bounces a few yards, probably a net 10-yard punt right there by Victor Roberts. So now Covenant Christian can take advantage of some excellent field position.
High snap, high punt, dangerous because that ball comes down, that hits you, that's a live ball. Got to watch what you're doing there.
So now if you're head coach Eric Cottle here, you have that fumble recovery by Tindley now on the previous possession. You have excellent field position here. What do you tell your team?
Got to score here. You got to score here. I think and Neighbors is the guy that I think can get you. Run the clock. Shorten the game, so to speak.
Pistol formation again for Flat. Quick snap, now off to Neighbors. Turns the corner, puts a hand in the face of the defender, and runs for first down yardage. An excellent run there by John Neighbors.
Read the holes well. Line blocking downfield.
So the ball at about the 15-yard line now, as an excellent run by Neighbors gains exactly 10 yards and a first down.
Second time in the red zone for them.
Tony Flatt once again in the pistol. Flatt hands it off to the other side of Neighbors. Now he cuts right back to the other side of the field, has some blockers, stands up into the end zone. Touchdown, Warriors!
And I tell you, give the assist to the umpire because the safety guy bit off and had to go through the pick. But that's a nice run, and that's great. The running back sees it and said, well, might as well use him.
15-yard run by Neighbors to get into the end zone for the first score of the ball game. Better late than never, I'd say.
Good look at the young man. Nice job by our camera crew.
Of course, Ben Wood, our cameraman here this afternoon. Good to have him on board. Luke Munoz puts it through the uprights, and it is good. Back in a minute here on IndianaSRN.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. His land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Seven 0 the score here at Covenant Christian High School rather has the lead. We're at Zionsville West Middle School, which is the home field for Covenant Christian here on IndianaSRN. They lead the Tindley Tigers 7-0. Keith Myers, your thoughts on that first touchdown drive here for Covenant?
Well, they had a good drive the first time, fumbled the football, came back and had great field position again. It was Neighbors. Neighbors ran left, student body left, ran student body right. Used the defenders, did a nice job. I like how they did that in time on the clock. 6:01 took half of the quarter is now over, and they've had the ball twice.
And so now you'll have Luke Munoz again handling the kicking duties tonight. And he puts it away and gets a bounce right into the hands of the Tindley receiver there. Hampton tries to shake up the middle, and he gets it back maybe to the 25 mark at the 26. And so now let's take a look at the replay of this run again here, as Neighbors was designed going one way, then goes the other.
Watch real close here. See that? Then he picks up a block right there. Nice job.
From the official, nonetheless.
Well, they're part of the game.
They are on the field, so that is just the name of the game sometimes.
Speaking of officials, we need officials. If you want to be an official, contact the Indiana High School Athletic Association's office.
Richmond puts it in the air again and into the hands of his receiver. That's Jaden Pinkston. And Pinkston is going to go all the way down to the 25, and he's tackled, and they are going to get a horse collar tackle there on Gavin Tyndall.
Yeah, that ball is going to get to about the 5-yard line because that was a horse tackle. And nice speed. Again, quarterback set in his way, did a nice job, looked off, and, boy, I tell you what, I would rather see the kids score than the horse tackle.
But based on my statistics here at Keith Myers, that is Jaden Pinkston's first reception of the season, and so better late than never for it, as that goes a very good play there for the Tigers to get them into plus territory. So there's the horse collar penalty called on Gavin Tyndall here for the Warriors, so that will add an extra 15 yards, and so this will put the Tindley Tigers in first and goal to go situation here.
Yeah, it's half the distance. The ball was at the 20, so it's half the distance, so it's at the 10 first. Well, they look like it's at the 11.
So just outside of inside goal to go, so they can still get the first down without scoring here, can the Tigers. Richmond fakes the handoff to Hampton, dumps it off to his tight end, Glenn. He sheds a tackler, goes along the sideline. They're going to mark him out of bounds before he gets to the end zone. And so nevertheless, it will be a 1st and goal to go right here, as it looks like he got first down yardage. And so now we get it back over to midfield here. It's about 5 minutes left to go here in the first quarter. Richmond hands it off to Hampton, keeps it himself, but a shoestring tackle there led by Neighbors brings him down in the backfield for maybe a loss of 3.
That time he just didn't know what to do with it. He didn't know what to either run or throw. So he loses 4.
So a quick correction, that was actually Nolan Jones in on the tackle there, the 5'6" sophomore. 2nd down and goal to go. And Tindley taking their precious time here. Still taking their precious time. Tindley, Richmond, looking for a receiver, has nobody. Instead, he's going to opt to take it into the end zone himself. Is he there? Yes, he is. No, he is not.
Call him short.
They're going to call him just shy, and now he has first down yardage. So it wasn't a first down the first time, but now they get it this time. So now they have a fresh set of downs with maybe a yard to go to get to the end zone.
1st and goal. Clock, first quarter running down to the end here. This 40-second ready for play clock. They're using every single second of that play clock.
Going to keep the offense on the sidelines, or at least on the defensive side of the football here, since many of these players play both ways. Richmond trying to dump it off. Intercepted in the end zone! And it is it is Carter Bell. Carter Bell gets the interception and saves Covenant Christian from giving up a touchdown.
Bell just stepped right in front of that ball, catches it, did the right thing, fall down.
Probably the play of the first quarter right there, Coach.
I would think so, yes, sir.
So Carter Bell only getting 8 tackles this year. That is his first interception of the season. But now
that ball is on the 1-inch line.
They're going to say that ball is at about the 5-yard line, actually, when it's all said and done, as they are have a little bit of breathing room here. Handoff is to Neighbors. Has some blocking. Sheds a tackler. Goes along the sideline. Sheds another tackler and gets well out to about maybe the 35-yard line.
Nice run. Man, the line up front is making some big holes.
So 1st down and 10 here for Covenant. See, about 3.5 minutes left to go here in this first quarter. Tony Flatt looking long downfield, has his receiver, and that is a big pitch and catch by the big man.
Sam Lyons.
Sam Lyons, who is the younger brother of Will Lyons, his brother a big-time receiver. That is Sam Lyons, I believe his first catch of the season, and it comes up big. Actually, no, that's Brock Buckley. Brock Buckley, the 6'3" senior. Looking at this again, Buckley getting long here. And a timeout is taken here by Tindley. Back in a minute here on IndianaSRN.
How does a good man become even better? By working out? Or by working his way up the corporate ladder? By changing his diet? or by changing a style. By traveling the world, or by staying perfectly still. For 300 years, we've helped good men become the best versions of themselves through a dedicated fraternity and by taking an oath to live a life of integrity, service, and brotherly love. Men who are as committed to each other and their families as they are to our noble cause. In the end, we don't just make men better, we make them Masons. Not just a man, a Mason.
Getting back to the action here on IndianaSRN, Covenant Christian marching down the field off of a big pitch and catch from Flat to Buckley, and now there's a pitch to Neighbors again, and back-to-back touchdowns for John Neighbors, his 10th touchdown of the season. About 22 yards on that carry.
And again, Flat running that option and keeping the ball until he needed to get rid of it. The unselfishness of these players keyed. The key throw and the key catch.
And so Munoz on to handle the kicking duties here. He is so far 1 for 1 tonight. And now make it 2 for 2 here in quarter number 1. Back in a minute here on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that fuels your passion for sports and physical activity. IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences offers that and more. You'll have insider access to sports, fitness, and exercise science professionals and learn from faculty with years of industry experience. And with Indy as your classroom, you'll study next to world-class sports facilities, Olympic governing bodies, the NCAA, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sports industry career. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Tonight's broadcast brought to you by IUPUI Sports Management. Sports management careers are booming. When you're managing the business side of sports, you're always a major player in the game. Our graduates work in crucial and demanding positions and at sports organizations, venues, and managing arenas and stadiums. Contact us for more information at iupui.edu/sports management. Alongside Keith Myers, I'm Kurt Darling, and there is nearly a muff right there by Tindley, but they take it into the end zone for a touchback, and that will bring it back out to the 25-yard line.
Scores for you also tonight. Heritage Christian leads Cecina 7-0 at the end of 1. Park Heritage leads Greencastle 8-7 at the end of 1. Traders Point and Frontier still in the first quarter 7-0. And, of course, our score here 14-0. We'll keep you abreast of all the games tonight on IndianaSRN.
And, of course, a quick look at some other games that you can catch here on IndianaSRN coming up in the following week. You got some boys soccer action between Covenant Christian and Park Tudor. That game on Tuesday at 5 p.m. And then Covenant Christian volleyball also in action on Tuesday. They are taking on Guerin Catholic. You can catch both of those games at 5 o'clock and 7:30 p.m. respectively right here on the IndianaSRN family of networks.
That ball, they are going to mark that ball at the 2-yard line, saying he had the ball and then
gave up. So deep in their own territory now are the Tigers. They have to go 98 yards, the full length of the field. They certainly have shown that they are able to do it, though. Richmond dumps the pass off to the left side. They're going to call that a completion to Tyer Miller, his first catch of the night. Of course, Miller was the one who came in and played some quarterback against South Decatur just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, they used 2 quarterbacks, and it worked for them so far this year. We'll see how it will go real quick. Greencastle just scored to make it 14-8 over Park Heritage. That Park Heritage team is ranked in 1A.
Of course, a big home game there for Greencastle. Richmond tucks the ball, picks up a first down for the Tigers, and gets tackled just outside of the 15-yard line. Call it at about the 17. And a big first down there for the Tigers to give themselves some breathing room.
Something they needed, right?
And now Covenant Christian again being forced to wait here as Tindley is taking their time. Richmond hands the ball off to Hampton, and he is met at the line of scrimmage there by Elijah Carlson, the big defensive tackle, who's only had a handful of tackles so far this season. So second down and about 7 yards here. Richmond will dump it off to the left side. Again, this time it's Glenn, his tight end. He barrels through a couple of tacklers and picks up the first down.
Under 2 minutes of the first quarter.
And so another first down here for Tindley, and they are moving the ball. Minute 35 left here in the first quarter as the clock continues to wind down here. Handoff is to Hampton again, and he is shoestrung, tackled again by that big defensive line of Covenant Christian.
You know, the play that's really working for them is tight in. But all of a sudden you're going to key on that, and they're going to beat that. So we'll see what the offense will do here. Second down.
You certainly have a lot of talent here with this Covenant Christian defensive line. Ethan Sparks and Elijah Carlson, both 6'4", 6'3", well over 240 pounds, each of them. Richmond goes downfield and incomplete to his receiver, Jaden Pinkston.
Unofficially 49 seconds left in the first quarter.
So third down and 8. Third down and 8 here. Clock stopped at 47 seconds here. And Richmond again taking their time here are the Tigers. They are certainly milking the clock for all it's worth here, at least the play clock anyway. And again, an incomplete pass. Actually, no, it is completed to the running back there for Tindley, but it's still fourth down and short of the line to gain.
I would think he would have to punt here, wouldn't you?
That would certainly be the traditional line of thinking here, but you see a lot of things in high school football, to say the least. But there will be a punt here from Victor Roberts. It'll be his second punt of the night. And another awkward snap, and Victor Roberts is just able to get it away. And another short punt. This time it goes out of bounds. Covenant Christian will be able to take advantage of some more excellent field position.
This ball went straight up in the air and went right out of bounds. They're going to mark it right at about the 34-yard line.
And so now you're up 14-0 here. You have a chance to make it 21-0 with 26 seconds left. But needless to say, it's been a pretty solid first quarter for Covenant Christian, minus a few miscues.
Well, do you go for the end zone right here on this play? Do you go for broke here? And, I mean, you still got 4 downs to get something, but do you just go deep here?
Definitely worth a shot. Flat fakes the handoff. Has some time to pass. Going deep he is, downfield, and just getting a hand on it there.
Oh, late flag.
And a late flag called, but you had Tyre Miller getting a hand on the flag on the play there, but they may get him for pass interference as Neighbors was trying to make a play on the ball, and you may have had a little bit of jersey pulling there by Tyre Miller. So the officials conversing now at about the 30-yard line, as that will stop the clock at about 20 seconds. And, of course, if you have this penalty right here, this is a killer that could certainly make it an even bigger deficit here if you're Tindley.
Because if this is pass interference, this is 15 yards.
Of course, it's not the spot of the foul like you see in the NFL. And, no, they're going to get targeting.
Wow.
So they're going to get targeting here on Tindley, and depending on the severity of the targeting penalty, we could see a player ejected here. Don't want to speculate too much, but the officials going over to talk with head coach Melvin Graham here to make sure they got everything in order. But that was a targeting call. Doesn't look like anybody's going to get ejected, but definitely a first personal foul on whoever that targeting call was on.
That's a tough call. Very tough call. It looked like both players were going for the ball. This is going to go 15 yards, ball at the 20.
Liscombe in motion. Handoff this time is to Neighbors. He turns the corner again, looking for touchdown number 3, and he gets it. Touchdown, Covenant Christian, and he celebrating. He kicks his own receiver in the face.
I have not seen that at all. That's brutal.
As you can see, Gavin Tyndall on the receiving end of that boot to the face right there, but he's all smiles as his team now is up 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. And as you saw it right there, Keith Myers, that penalty was certainly a backbreaker right there.
Made a big difference in that play. And, 3 quick scores, a lot of turnovers for Tindley as well.
Luke Munoz looking for PAT number 3.
High snap.
Snap is down, but he is able to get it through the uprights. Another timeout back here in just a little bit here on Indiana SRN. Covenant Christian has started each of their last 2 drives inside their opponent's 30-yard line, and they have certainly been able to take advantage of those last 2 as they are now up 21-0 here in the first quarter. Alongside Keith Myers, I'm Kurt Darling. 10 seconds left here in this first quarter here, Mr. Myers.
It's the Neighbors show. I got a feeling that Neighbors is not going to be the only one that's going to get the ball because he's already had 3 touchdowns. And he doesn't have even 100 yards yet. So
he's got to be close, though.
Yeah, pretty close.
So John Neighbors has definitely been the man of the quarter and now has 11 touchdowns on the season as Munoz will put his boot into the ball and kicks it right into the hands of Tindley's receiver there. That's Miller. And Miller brings it back out to about the 25.
4 seconds left in this quarter.
So Tindley will have an opportunity to at least get 1 play off here before we go to quarter number 2. And so Covenant Christian, as we mentioned in the pregame, has won both of their last 2 games by an average score of at least 50 points.
Yeah, I mean, and this is, Coach has got to be really happy. This is an oiled machine that's playing very, very well.
So we have 1 final play here before we end the first quarter. Richmond will dump it off to his tight end in Glenn, and I believe that will have time expire. We are at the end of quarter number 1, and quarter number 2 coming at you here in just a little bit after this quick timeout. Back in a minute here on Indiana SRN.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
IHSAA Foundation is a proud supporter of tonight's broadcast here on Indiana SRN. Catch up on what's going on with the IHSAA Foundation by subscribing to our newsletter, The Advocate. Email us at ihsaafoundation.org. That is ihsaafoundation.org. Quarter number 2 getting set to roll here at Zionsville West Middle School, the home field of Covenant Christian High School, which they take a 21-0 advantage going into quarter number 2. And as you said before the break there, Keith Myers, it has been all John Neighbors here in this ball game.
Yeah, John has done a nice job. And also the option, Tony Platt has two options, either to pitch or to keep, and he's made some really good decisions on all three possessions.
And so now Covenant Christian going back on defense to continue this drive as Tindley is looking for some sort of answer here. They have not been able to get any sort of rhythm on offense rolling, but nevertheless, Joseph Glenn has been probably a good ray of light here for this Tindley squad. He already has 5 catches tonight for around 50 yards. And now Tindley showing a little confusion here as they're trying to get the play in. Davion Hampton. And now they have Tyre Miller in at quarterback for the Tigers, and he fumbles the snap, and that is going to go down as a sack for Covenant Christian. And in on that one there, it looks like it was maybe Lloyd Lipscomb.
Yeah, again, the snap a little high. Quarterback had a hard time bringing that down. And this is the second time that Hampton has been at the underneath center. Well, the shotgun formation.
You also had Temi Adelican in on that sack as well. And so they bring Richmond back in at quarterback here as the clock continues to wind. And now you're going to have a false start penalty here on Tindley. And no, it's going to be, it looks like it might be some encroachment here. And indeed, that is the call. So that'll be a 5-yard penalty in favor of the Tindley Tigers. Of course, this is a Tindley squad. They first started playing football back in 2012, just 3 years prior to Covenant Christian starting their football program. And in that span, they've only had 2 winning seasons. They went 7-4 in 2017 and 8-1 in 2019. So this is a program that certainly knows how to get the job done as far as winning is concerned. Miller back in at quarterback. And they're going to have him on the Wildcat here, and he is able to turn the corner and drag Liscomb with him, and that's enough for a first down.
Boy, he leaped for that first down, Kurt. Nice job. Felt the contact and just took off.
And it seems that might be something that will work here if your head coach Melvin Graham might want to try and stick with it. Clock continues to roll here at the 10.5-minute mark in quarter number 2. Snap, fakes the handoff, and now they're going to dump it off. And there's another tackle. They're going to get another horse collar tackle on Covenant Christian, it appears, as Jaden Pinkston was on the reception. And it looked like it was close to a horse collar. It looked like he may have gotten more of the pad, but still he was brought down in a pretty violent motion, so you're probably going to get that call every time.
Yeah, when the white hat has the call and the line judge and the umpire, I think they all three looked at it and thought it was the same call.
So that's the second horse collar tackle called on Covenant Christian tonight. That will move Tindley into plus territory, a 15-yard penalty and a first down. Covenant showing blitz here. And now another flag on the play, and it's going to be a false start on Tindley, and that will certainly break some of that momentum that you have off that penalty.
Yeah, the receiver were going up to the line of scrimmage. We're not playing in Canada. In Canada, that's legal, and also arena football. shameless plug. Saw the Arena Football Championship on cable the other night. Total crowd, you ready for this? 2,000 in the stadium to watch the Arena Football Championship. It has changed.
And certainly has. Tyre Miller takes the snap, gives the handoff to Hampton, has a little bit of a hole there up the middle and is able to get at least some of those yards lost on the penalty and maybe a gain of 4. Hampton, 38 carries on the season, 231 rushing yards and 4 TDs coming into the night.
And you see on the wrist, every player of Tindley has the play in hand. They call out a number, then a formation.
And you see Miller checking his wristband right there.
Looks like they changed the play here.
Oh, and another false start here. And so Tindley just keeps backing up after they got penalty yardage from Covenant Christian, so Covenant was literally giving it to them a little bit right there, and now they're shooting themselves in the foot as they now back themselves up towards midfield.
Yeah, and the one thing here, Kurt, with these plays, because they have had some positive plays and just a fumble here, an interception here, or they would still be pretty much in this game. They still are in this game, but it would be a lot closer than 21-0.
But notice also as well, Tindley is running a lot of time off the clock here as they are certainly taking their time. They have now had the ball in this quarter for 3.5 minutes. Miller fakes the handoff, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, powers forward, keeping his legs moving, and it looks like he may have had forward progress for a first down. They're certainly going to mark it close. Still a pretty unique play there and a good play there by Miller to at least save the drive after those 2 dismal penalties.
Yeah, a nice job of just running the Wildcat. Maybe that's what you need to do right here because Covenant is definitely not stopping that. Hey, hello to Brenda Hilton, who's listening in Illinois. Got a couple people in Pennsylvania that's watching us, and my nephew in Springfield, Illinois is watching the game tonight.
Certainly glad all of you can join us here on Indiana SRN tonight. Fake the handoff again. Here goes Miller right up the middle and then goes to the right side and gets inside the 15-yard line.
Boy, that thing is working for him.
So Tyre Miller, who started the game at wide receiver tonight, they move him in at quarterback again, and he is certainly showing some elusiveness here that is giving the Tindley Tigers a little bit of life.
Coach, whatever you want me to do, I'll do.
Of course, he's thrown the ball a handful of times here tonight. He had 4 completions 2 weeks ago against South Decatur. He also had 2 touchdown passes. Hampton looking to pass it here again. Instead, he tries to run it, and he is brought down by the jersey there by John Neighbors. And that's the one thing you see here. You see players on both sides of the ball here playing both ways. After all, you are watching some 1A football here, so the rosters are certainly limited.
Yeah, we see that time after time. Covenant Christian, I think, is dressing 40 kids. Tindley about 22, 23 kids. Makes a big difference. And then you go to 6A and you see 120 kids on the field. So,
of course, talking to Coach Cottle earlier this week, 38 players in this program.
Really, is that right? That's
for
awesome.
Covenant Christian. Of course, that has grown from just 18 that they had 3 years ago. Then there is Miller shedding a tackle in the backfield. And this little guy standing all of 5'6", weighing 160 pounds, is certainly doing all he can to show how he can avoid tacklers.
Well, the thing also, Kurt, though, is that they're getting him and they're not wrapping. You got to wrap. You can't just try to tackle him at the waist. He's just a little quicker than that.
Showing 3rd down and 7. Tindley has certainly taken a lot of time off the clock here in this quarter. Hampton nonchalantly takes the handoff and now tries to power it forward. Flag on the play. So they're going to get a 2-yard gain here, and it's going to be a holding call against Tindley. So that will negate the 2-yard gain and instead back them up 10 yards from the previous spot.
If you take this penalty, it is going to be a 10-yard. If you do not, it will be 3rd down. So they are going to take it.
So they're going to take the penalty yardage here because, as you were saying there, Coach, if they were to decline it, it would be 4th down and, by my eyeball, maybe about 8 yards. But instead, they'll back it up to make it 3rd down and long, very long.
You're playing the field position game here if you're Covenant Christian.
Of course, they have had excellent field positions so far. They've been averaging at least maybe a starting position of about the 30 or 40-yard line the last 2 drives.
I take that. I hope Purdue gets that against Notre Dame tomorrow.
Without the world's largest drum.
Okay, thank you so much.
And now we have a timeout on the field. It looks like it is a timeout called by Tindley. And we'll take a timeout with them. Back in a minute here on IndianaSRN. Coming out of the timeout, Covenant Christian leads 21-0 here on IndianaSRN. I'm Kurt Darling, and Keith Myers has a scoreboard update.
Scoreboard update brought to you by Morales Group. Heritage Christian leads Cecina 13-0. Greencastle leads Park Heritage 21-16 with 4 minutes to play. And Traders Point leads Frontier 21-0. That game is just at the second quarter.
Richmond back in at quarterback here on this play, 3rd down and 17, and they just try to dump it off to their receiver, Davion Hampton, and that goes nowhere. And now it's 4th down and long.
You bring in your other quarterback to throw the ball, and he just overshot his defender by about 3 or 4 yards, or his receiver by 3 or 4 yards.
So Davion Hampton just could not keep that one in reach. And now here you have an interesting decision. So the ball is about the 32-yard line, give or take a few, maybe call it the 22-yard line. And it looks like Tindley is going to go for it right here on 4th down and 17. They have to get it to the 5-yard line.
Right now, you just play to the 5-yard line if you're Covenant Christian.
Long ball looking for the receiver, and it is caught in the end zone for a touchdown. And that is Jaden Pinkston on the reception over double coverage. What a grab there by the junior wide receiver.
And how did he catch this ball in between 2 guys? That ball was threaded. Now maybe I see why he's the quarterback, because that's a great pass.
That was a teardrop pass there from Dion Richmond as he found Jaden Pinkston. And so now for the extra point here will be Victor Roberts. No, actually they're going to kick the field goal. They're going to kick the extra point here. With 5:27 left on the clock. And Roberts puts it up through the uprights, and it is good. We'll take a timeout. Back in a minute here on IndianaSRN.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Coach Keith Myers, we got to get a look at this replay here of this previous touchdown. A 22-yard catch here by Jaden Pinkston.
This is amazing. I mean, looked like that ball was going to be dropped, and that's the two defenders there.
Of course, he put that over Will Lyons and Gavin Tindall on the coverage. And that was an excellent call right there for 22 yards and a touchdown. And so Covenant Christian caught a little bit on their heels right there on that one, because keep in mind, that has been the only drive of this second quarter so far. Tindley did an excellent job of at least winding some clock right there.
What is about 9-minute drive? Pretty impressive.
About 7 minutes. About 6.5, 7 minutes right there.
Again, I'm not a math major.
Neither am I. Coming downfield here is Gavin Tindall. He's trying to follow some blockers, finesses his way forward, and an excellent run back there to get it out past the 35. So call it at about the 38-yard line here, as Covenant Christian will now have their first drive here of this second half. And needless to say, they've had plenty of time to rest here, Coach.
Yes, sir. See what they can do here.
It's been all John Neighbors so far here today. He has 3 touchdown runs for 15 yards, 22 yards, and 20 yards respectively, accounting for all 21 points, along with the Luke Munoz extra points. Another quick score update here for you. Out of the MIC Conference, you have Ben Davis and Warren Central playing each other right now. A crosstown rivalry. 14-13, Warren Central leads Ben Davis early on in that contest. Passes out to Tindall for his first catch of the ball game. I believe, no, that's actually Luke Munoz getting the grab there from Tony Flatt.
It looked like Tony Flatt came on the field a little late. Maybe Coach wanted to talk to him about a couple of things here. I think you could throw the ball on here if you're Covenant Christian.
Flatt back in the pistol yet again. Liscombe in motion. And Flatt handles the low snap. You have the option again, and this time he's going to keep it, and he powers forward for maybe a gain of a first down right there. He goes forward for about 6 yards on that carry.
Nice play. Again, that time he held the ball and then just went straight up the field. First down for them.
And talk to Coach Cottle again, as I mentioned earlier on this week. Tony Flatt, of course, the younger brother of Trey Flatt, who was the quarterback of the state championship winning team a year ago. Believe it or not, these two brothers are polar opposites. You have Tony Flatt, who you see handing off to John Neighbors right there, and he stands up, but for a nice gain of about 8 yards. But talking more about Tony Flatt, talking to Coach Cottle, he said that Tony Flatt is a football player who plays basketball, but he described Trey Flatt as a basketball player who plays football.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you how both of those two brothers, they have their sports that they are good at and they love playing.
And they both are aggressive and they both are hard-headed.
Of course,
that's a good thing.
Well, they may come by it honestly, as their dad is head basketball coach Scott Flatt. As you see, Tony Flatt hit his receiver right down for a nice gain. That is Brock Buckley on the reception.
Buckley on the catch. I tell you what, Flatt made that play and heads up to the offensive line to stay on the line. You didn't have an illegal man downfield.
Of course, the offensive line here for Covenant Christian made up of Cole Thomas, Elijah Carlson, Ethan Sparks, Reed Schreidner, and Wyatt Bowman. Of course, they have a lot of size that Covenant Christian can definitely take advantage of. And a sizable offensive line is not something you normally see in 1A football.
That's exactly right.
Flatt with plenty of time to throw, looking to the end zone, wide open, Brock Buckley into the end zone, touchdown Warriors. What a play, but what vision by Tony Flatt to catch the open man.
Buckley just ran the post straight up at the 3-minute mark, made this 27-7. Tell you what, this is going to be a high-scoring game.
At least it will be for Covenant Christian, to say the least. And now Covenant Christian, with 3 minutes exactly left on the clock here, they will have an extra point opportunity here with Luke Munoz, who is 3 for 3 so far tonight. He has done an excellent job with the kicking duties, filling in for Jack Fulbright. And the kick is up, and it is through the uprights. 28-7 is the score. Back in just a minute here on Indiana SRN.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor because land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Alongside Keith Myers, I'm Kurt Darling here at Zionsville West Middle School. Covenant Christian, a home game for homecoming here tonight, as we saw an excellent play here from Tony Flatt to Brock Buckley.
What a catch.
And just waltzing right into the end zone. Call that about a 40-yard pitch and catch from Flatt to Buckley. And believe it or not, Coach Myers, that is the first touchdown scored tonight by a player not named John Neighbors.
And you know what? It only took a minute and 23 seconds off the clock.
As opposed to the 6.5 minutes that we saw Tindley run off the clock there on their opening drive of the second quarter.
Right, exactly.
And now you'll see Covenant Christian boot the ball away again here, as Tindley will only have 3 minutes to work with here in a second quarter that has gone by pretty quick. Only 2 drives per team so far in this quarter. Or 1 drive apiece, rather.
Yes.
2 drives total among both teams. And Munoz puts it away. A line drive kick bouncing right into the hands of Miller. And Miller will try to bring it back upfield. He turns right up the middle, has some running room, and sheds a tackler almost, but it is Luke Munoz, the kicker, who makes the tackle. But, of course, that's not saying much, seeing as how Luke Munoz also plays free safety on defense.
I mean, you look at the kickoff, and he gets the extra point. What else can this do? He's probably up for homecoming king.
As you now have Miller staying in, it appears, for the time being, but you also have Richmond coming back out here, so it looks like it'll be Dion Richmond getting things moving at quarterback with just under 3 minutes to go here for the Tigers. And now you have a little bit of movement, and it might be a false start here on Tindley, because it looked like that may actually be on Richmond, because he set his feet a little bit there, flinching.
Yeah, one of the things, I think they're going to go on 2, and no one told the line of scrimmage. No one told the lineman.
And so that'll back them up 5 yards.
That happens in my flag football game all the time in Thanksgiving.
But they were able to overcome penalties on their previous drive and march it down the field for a touchdown, as Davion Hampton will only bring it back up for a gain of 2.
You know, my granddaughters are 9 and 10. They don't understand. Hut. You know, they just go off sides, get the flag. I don't even know why I let them play.
Do you really call it that closely?
Oh, I want to win every single game. I'm going to beat my sister? Yeah.
And now Dion Richmond taking his time as we approach the 2-minute mark here of this second quarter. Richmond low snap, and he'll have to fall on it, and he's down right there. So that will lose them probably a good 10 to 15 yards on that miscue alone. And so this will back them up to 3rd and long, as they'll stop the clock to get a timeout on the field. It appears it's a timeout by Covenant Christian. Back in a minute here on Indiana SRN.
I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Stay up to date with IHSAA sports news at our sports page at IndianaSRN.org or at Troy at RadioTroy.com. Alongside Keith Myers, I'm Kurt Darling.
New little feature, that sports page. It's a very interesting update of every week and give you the update of what we're doing at IndianaSRN, the polls. Nice little update. Troy does a nice job with that.
Of course, Troy and Justin on the call of Frontier taking on Traders Point right now. You can catch that game on the IndianaSRN family of networks as we speak.
Don't leave that. No, don't leave us.
Richmond heaving it downfield and just a little bit long there for his tight end, Joseph Glenn, and that'll stop the clock at 1:53, and they are now 4th down and 25, and it looks like the punt team is going to come on here for Tindley.
And now Covenant Christian will have about a minute 40 on the clock with 2 timeouts left. Might have just gave Covenant Christian maybe a little break here.
And so Tindley has not had a good night punting the ball. In fact, they have only had the longest punt has been maybe 15 yards. As now they'll have Tyre Miller back punting the ball. So Miller can catch, run, and kick the ball apparently. And this time he gets that way down the field. And that is going to take a Tindley bounce right down to about the 31-yard line. So now Covenant Christian having to deal with a little bit more field position here to work with as they only have about a minute 40 left to go.
You got Tony Flatt that has 1:43 on the clock. The last possession was 1:27. I think he could get this done.
He also has a lot more field to work with, though.
Yeah, yes, he does.
But they have definitely shown they've been able to move it down the field here this evening. Tony Flatt so far with a touchdown pass, a singular touchdown pass. That was his 10th touchdown pass of the season. And puts him close to 900 yards passing on the year. And now you're going to have a clear false start right there on Covenant Christian, as you saw a lot of movement there from Wyatt Bowman.
Yeah, Wyatt was on 1.5. Everybody else was on 2. That's 2 penalties back-to-back of offensive linemen. You know, you want that fine-tuned oil machine.
Looks like that was actually Logan Reifert, 77, who is the backup right guard for Covenant Christian. John Neighbors gets his first carry, and you'll see another flag here that looks like they may get a face mask, if not illegal use of hands to the face of some sort, because you saw a lot of grabbing there up high. Looks like that was a tackle there by R.L. Weichart.
Got a listener in Columbus, Indiana tonight listening to the broadcast. We got a lot of viewers. You must be a star. They want to listen to you.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I'm a humble man.
Good.
It's yeah, they want to see. No, actually, they don't want to see us, Keith Myers. They actually want to see the game that Nick Lewis produces here. Nick
exactly
Lewis,
right.
our producer here tonight, doing an excellent job.
He's so humbled.
So the penalty was actually on Covenant Christian, so that will back them up even more. But still, Brock Buckley gets the penalty yardage back and then some, shakes a tackler, gets down inside the 30 to the 25. What a play there by Brock Buckley to take it 70 yards and into plus territory and close to the red zone here for the Warriors.
This Buckley kid not only plays football, plays basketball, and his number one sport, baseball. He's an All-American, and he gets his talent from his mom, not his dad.
He can take it however he can get it. And Covenant Christian threatening yet again with time waning in this first half. Neighbors tries to cut it to the outside and only gets pushed out of bounds after a gain of 5. And that'll stop the clock at 62 seconds. And it has just been certainly an incredible thing to see the resolve of this Covenant Christian squad, just how easily they seem to be in sync here tonight.
Again, really good fundamentals.
And another false start, right as you say that. As they're probably going to get Cole Thomas here with the false start. He was definitely moving there at left tackle.
That tends to happen, doesn't it?
And so they'll back them up yet another 5 yards. The second false start here on this drive, but that has not seemed to hold Covenant Christian back a whole lot here, as they have shown they can overcome that. Second down and 11. Precisely 1 minute left to go here in this first half. Handoff is to Neighbors. Has some blockers up the middle, inside the 10, down to the 5, spins toward the end zone and is taken down just shy of it at the 2. What a play there by John Neighbors, who is well over 100 yards rushing here this evening.
Right now, you just get this ball in the end zone.
And a whistle before the snap, and it looks like we may have another timeout. And it's a timeout taken by Tindley. We'll take a timeout with them back here in just a little bit here on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
.51 seconds left in the first half here for Covenant Christian High School here on homecoming night as they host Tindley out of Indianapolis. Alongside Keith Myers, I'm Kurt Darling, and now they have a chance to punch it in yet again after getting the ball with just over 2 minutes left to go here in this first half. Neighbors sheds a tackle, powers into the end zone, and he gets another touchdown on the first half, his 4th of the first half.
He's going to be a little sore tomorrow.
Sore from smiling so much, probably, because that is another touchdown for him, a 2-yard dive into the end zone, and Neighbors with number 4 on the night and number 12 on the season. He has certainly been productive, to say the least, and now has his 3rd 100-yard rushing game of the year. In fact, his 3rd 100-yard rushing game in a row for the Warriors. And the ball is through the uprights there from Luke Munoz. We'll take a timeout here in just a little bit. Back in a minute on IndianaSRN.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
35-7 is the score here as we approach halftime here on Indiana SRN. And Keith Myers, I don't want to wait for halftime on this. Please read the score that you just read to me here as we were at break.
Now, Delta is a very good ball club, correct?
It is. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
An HHC contender.
Yes. Mount Vernon leads 49-10.
And it's not even halftime yet. Wow. Crazy game right there as Mount Vernon.
What did the Marauders do after week 2? What did they eat? Because they have been unstoppable since week 2.
It's probably some of that corn that they grow around the high school there in Madison County. Miller on the return here for Tindley. He has some running room up the middle, sheds one tackler, turns on the afterburners, and he is going to take this all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers.
They don't see a flag.
And just like that, Tindley is saying we are not done with this one just yet.
There might be a flag.
And we're certainly not seeing anything indicating a flag at the moment. There's 30 seconds left, and there is a flag on the play there. So good eyes there by Keith Myers. It's laying right at the 45-yard line, and it looks like it might be against Covenant Christian. And I believe it was illegal block in the back.
Yep.
Or either that or it was holding on Covenant Christian. Either way, it is a penalty on Covenant, so the touchdown stands. And it's unsportsmanlike conduct is what we're getting as the official penalty there. So that is a good touchdown by Tindley. And certainly something they definitely needed going into halftime.
Yeah, they needed a jump start. They did it.
And the kick is up and through the uprights. And it is no good, actually, from our vantage point right there. You certainly can't see that, so it remains 35-13. And we take another break here in just a little bit here on Indiana SRN.
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of Indiana SRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know Indiana SRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? Indiana SRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's Indiana SRN.
Well, it's been an extended second quarter, to say the least, right here on Indiana SRN. You had 2 touchdowns in the span of just 2 minutes, one by each team. Covenant Christian was able to get the ball back, but Tindley answered with a huge kickoff return for a touchdown, 95 yards by Tyer Miller.
Yeah, and once again, you got 30 seconds left, 15-yard penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. This ball will probably go to the end zone. Yeah, we may see another score before this half.
Of course, with the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, that is enforced on this kickoff, so they will just boot it down close to the end zone, and they're going to force Neighbors to take it. That took an excellent bounce right there, and Neighbors going to try and answer it his own. Flag on the play. And that is actually Tony Flatt returning it right there. And Flatt brought it back out to about the 40-yard line, but we have a flag back at the 20. And you might get some sort of penalty here on Covenant Christian as we await the call from the referee. The officials still conversing here as they try to figure it out. It's going to be against Covenant Christian as it seems they're backing it up. And so I would imagine it was. And it's an illegal block in the back on Covenant. So that will be 15 yards, I believe, or either 10 or 15 yards from the spot of the foul. And so they place the ball at the 7-yard line. So what would have been excellent field position here for Covenant Christian with 21 seconds to go. They're now deep in their own territory.
You kneel here? They don't look like they're going to kneel.
Not just yet. And now a whistle. As we have a flag on the play, it looks like it's an offsides call on Tindley. They got a little anxious there on that snap count. Further extending this second quarter as it was breezing by, but this last 2.5 minutes has certainly been a little bit tough here. Neighbors on the sweep will bring it outside, tries to stay in bounds. He does so, cuts back inside of the middle, and there's a tackle by Keyshawn McGill, and that will stop the clock because he picked up the first down, so they have to move the chains. And then once they get the chains set, they will restart the clock. And now they're going to call a timeout, does Covenant Christian. So they will take they'll take another timeout here, and they'll stop everything up. And we'll keep it here on Indiana SRN. Let's take a look at some more scores here from Keith Myers here as he gets things pulled up. As Covenant Christian has a commanding lead, but Tindley has certainly not gone away here just yet.
Heritage Christian leads Cena 20-0. That game is in the third quarter. Also, Greencastle is leading Park Heritage at halftime, 27-22. Of course, the game that you see here, 35-13. Also, Traders Point leads Frontier 21-0. We'll have all kinds of scores for you at halftime, and a lot more information coming your way right here at halftime.
Of course, you can stick around for the halftime show coming up here in just a little bit as we wait for one final play from Covenant Christian before we close out this first half, which has certainly been a topsy-turvy second quarter to say the least, as Tindley has certainly made it to the point where they are showing they're not exactly out of this fight yet. Flat with plenty of time, tries to look for the open receiver. Instead, he's going to be brought down for a sack. In on that tackle was Carsa Fairley, and that is going to be his third sack of the season, as that will bring us to the end of half number one here at Zionsville West Middle School. Covenant Christian High School, they've taken a commanding lead, but the Tindley Tigers, Coach Myers, they have not gone out of this just yet.
No, they haven't, and now Covenant Christian will now go into the locker room and look at their strategy, what they want to do for the second half. They get the ball back in the second half, first possession, due to the coin toss. They have elected to defer, so Covenant will get back on the field of offense. So I see what happens. Tindley surprises me, really. It's a great game at halftime, 35-13. You really thought it was going to be a 35-7, but nice little kickback. And for Covenant Christian, you cannot rest on your laurels. You got to keep playing and got to keep getting positive yards, because Tindley could surprise you here in the second half.
Indeed they could. Well, we'll send it to halftime here, and we will be back with some halftime scores and some other information in just a little bit, but stick around anyway. You're watching Indiana SRN.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a deer. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
I played volleyball and basketball, and I ran track while I was here. And I just loved that I got to do all three. I think, that's not super common, especially anymore, to have multi-sport athletes. And I think the bigger the school you go to, the less common that is. And I think Covenant's really awesome because you can do whatever you want to here, and you can be involved in however many things you want to be involved in here. Coming in, I was expecting a certain thing because I grew up going to private school, so I think I was expecting the atmosphere to be similar, and
for me to kind of know what I was coming into, but it was totally different. And I think the biggest part for me was just the relationships that I had with my coaches. In order to develop a deep relationship with someone, they have to know every part of you. And since Christ was such a huge part of my life, I think without that connection, I don't know if I would have been able to develop those relationships with my teammates as much. And I think us all having that common ground, I think that just allowed us to kind of fast forward the personal, relational things. And that's why all of my teams felt like families, because we all have this great common foundation and we just get to build from there. And that was what enriched the experience all the more, because when you have that sort of relationship with someone, you want to give it that much more effort and you love it that much more because you have a personal connection. So I think that is the biggest thing that sets Covenant Sports apart. And that's why I came back to coach, is because I wanted to be able to pour into kids like I was poured into as an athlete. My name is Brandy Fishburne, and athletics is the reason that Covenant is a fit for me.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
You want a career that fuels your passion for sports and physical activity. IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences offers that and more. You'll have insider access to sports, fitness, and exercise science professionals and learn from faculty with years of industry experience. And with Indy as your classroom, you'll study next to world-class sports facilities, Olympic governing bodies, the NCAA, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sports industry career. It all starts here.
I think of my philosophy of education, and Jan and I, as homeschooling parents, we really recognized it was our responsibility to educate our children. And so when we thought of basically delegating our children's education to someone else, we prayed about it and we thought, would we delegate our children's education to someone who didn't believe anything close to what we believe? And we basically said, no, we can't do that. We have to entrust and delegate that role in our children's lives to someone that believes consistently with what we believe. And being able to do that at Covenant was a big step for Jan and I, because having 7 kids and really wanting to see them walk with the Lord and wanting to see them engage their faith for the rest of their life, we wanted that key time in their life to be with someone that we could trust, and that's how we came to Covenant.
Well, we also had some of our children wanted to pursue some higher degrees, Kyle in engineering and Hannah in nursing, Luke in accounting, and we felt that Covenant was a college preparatory school, and just some of the scholarships that they got, so it was definitely prepared them well.
I think the first thing, besides the effort that Covenant has to take the children through 4 years of Bible study, I think it's the way they engage them to try and apply their biblical studies to a worldview and try and take what they're reading and understanding in Scripture and then look at their life situation, the things that are going on in life, their relationships with their classmates, and then apply what they're learning. And I think that's a really unique aspect to how they go about teaching them. And I think building relationships around that gives a depth to that relationship. I mean, you're talking about the thing that's most important in your life. Your faith in God, what you believe about Jesus Christ. And when you're discussing those things with people that really genuinely love you and want to see you come to the acknowledgement of the truth, I think it really adds a dynamic opportunity. Besides getting a Christ-centered education, the most important thing that we saw was the relationship development that took place between our children and the teachers.
I think all of our kids have been impacted by at least 2 teachers that they really connected with, and they really drew them out. They developed relationships. It went beyond the classroom.
And that was a real goal of the school. It wasn't just part of the curriculum. It was the heartbeat of the school was to develop relationships with the students, and some of those relationships are still intact. And quite frankly, that's the investment that you're making. You're making an investment in the opportunity for your young person to actually have time to engage a teacher, and the teacher to have time to do that. I'm Dan Eganoff, and this is my wife Jan, and a Christ-centered education is the reason Covenant was a fit for us.
You are at halftime with the score 35-13. Keith Myers, Kurt Darling. Let's look at some scores. River Forest 7, Whiting 0. West Lafayette leads 28-0 over Windsor-Lear. South Spencer and Princeton scoreless at halftime at 0. North Posey and Heritage Hills 7-7 at halftime. Maryville leads Michigan City 6-0 at halftime. Holbert and Lowell 0-0 halftime. Mustard and Kankakee Valley 0-0. Hanover Central and Griffith 6-0 at the end of one. Floyd Central and Jeffersonville scoreless at the end of one. Evansville Mater Dei and Evansville Central tied at 7. Memorial 6, Harrison 0. Calumet Christian 0. And Bowman Academy 0. A lot more scores for you. We'll take a break. We'll come back right after this.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
I played volleyball and basketball, and I ran track while I was here. And I just loved that I got to do all three. I think, that's not super common, especially anymore, to have multi-sport athletes. And I think the bigger the school you go to, the less common that is. And I think Covenant's really awesome because you can do whatever you want to here, and you can be involved in however many things you want to be involved in here. Coming in, I was expecting a certain thing because I grew up going to private schools. So I think I was expecting the atmosphere to be similar and for me to kind of know what I was coming into, but it was totally different. And I think the biggest part for me was just the relationships that I had with my coaches. In order to develop a deep relationship with someone, they have to know every part of you. And since Christ was such a huge part of my life, I think without that connection, I don't know if I would have been able to develop those relationships with my teammates as much. And I think us all having that common ground, I think that just allowed us to kind of fast forward the personal, relational things. And that's why all of my teams felt like families, because we all have this great common foundation and we just get to build from there. And that was what enriched the experience all the more, because when you have that sort of relationship with someone, you want to give it that much more effort and you love it that much more because you have a personal connection. So I think that is the biggest thing that sets Covenant Sports apart. And that's why I came back to coach, is because I wanted to be able to pour into kids like I was poured into as an athlete. My name is Brandy Fishburne, and athletics is the reason that Covenant is a fit for me.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
You want a career that fuels your passion for sports and physical activity. IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences offers that and more. You'll have insider access to sports, fitness, and exercise science professionals and learn from faculty with years of industry experience. And with Indy as your classroom, you'll study next to world-class sports facilities, Olympic governing bodies, the NCAA, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sports industry career. It all starts here.
I think of my philosophy of education, and Jan and I, as homeschooling parents, we really recognized it was our responsibility to educate our children. And so when we thought of basically delegating our children's education to someone else, we prayed about it, and we thought, would we delegate our children's education to someone who didn't believe anything close to what we believe? And we basically said, no, we can't do that. We have to entrust and delegate that role in our children's lives to someone that believes consistently with what we believe. And being able to do that at Covenant was a big step for Jan and I, because having 7 kids and really wanting to see them walk with the Lord and wanting to see them engage their faith for the rest of their life, we wanted that key time in their life to be with someone that we could trust, and that's how we came to Covenant.
Well, we also had some of our children wanted to pursue some higher degrees, Kyle in engineering and Hannah in nursing, Luke in accounting, and we felt that Covenant was a college preparatory school, and just some of the scholarships that they got, so it was definitely prepared them well.
I think the first thing, besides the effort that Covenant has to take the children through 4 years of Bible study, I think it's the way they engage them to try and apply their biblical studies to a worldview and try and take what they're reading and understanding in Scripture and then look at their life situation, the things that are going on in life, their relationships with their classmates, and then apply what they're learning. And I think that's a really unique aspect to how they go about teaching them. And I think building relationships around that gives a depth to that relationship. I mean, you're talking about the thing that's most important in your life. Your faith in God, what you believe about Jesus Christ. And when you're discussing those things with people that really genuinely love you and want to see you come to the acknowledgement of the truth, I think it really adds a dynamic opportunity. Besides getting a Christ-centered education, the most important thing that we saw was the relationship development that took place between our children and the teachers.
I think all of our kids have been impacted by at least 2 teachers that they really connected with, and they really drew them out. They developed relationships. It went beyond the classroom.
And that was a real goal of the school. It wasn't just part of the curriculum. It was the heartbeat of the school was to develop relationships with the students, and some of those relationships are still intact. And quite frankly, that's the investment that you're making. You're making an investment in the opportunity for your young person to actually have time to engage a teacher and the teacher to have time to do that. I'm Dan Eganoff, and this is my wife Jan, and a Christ-centered education is the reason Covenant was a fit for us.
Still halftime here at Zionsville West Middle School. I have to keep getting those things right. Zionsville West Middle School here on the north side of Indianapolis. A home game for Covenant Christian. It's homecoming here on IndianaSRN. Alongside Keith Myers, I'm Kurt Darling. Let's go ahead and take a look at some more area scores from around central Indiana. Zionsville currently leading Noblesville at halftime at 20-10. New Palestine is handedly beating Pendleton Heights 28-3 at the half. Brevard Jesuit shutting out Culver right now 28-0. Bloomington South on top of Terre Haute South 3-0 in a Conference Indiana matchup there. Whiteland is all over Perry Meridian not right now 24-6. Westfield and Hamilton Southeastern, a Hoosier Crossroads Conference matchup, 21-14 is the advantage for the Shamrocks in that one. Tipton is beating Lafayette Central Catholic 28-14 in that contest. Bishop Chatard right now leading Southport 42-10. Heritage Christian on top of Cecina 20-0. Decatur Central tied right now with Mooresville at the half. 20 all is the piece in that one. Center Grove is beating North Central in the mid-conference matchup there, 39-0. 7-0 is the score between Speedway and Monrovia. The Sparkplugs leading there, and Brownsburg is on top of Fishers 10-7 in that contest. Now we'll take a look again at the back half of the IndianaSRN polls. We did the first half at the beginning of the broadcast. Let's take a look now at Class 4A. The Roncalli Royals, not the Rebels anymore, the Royals. They are the number 1 school in Class 4A right now, followed by number 2 Mooresville. Leo coming in at number 3. Jasper is number 4, and East Noble, who were in the state finals just a couple of years ago, they are number 5.
You know, you see Roncalli there, and I really think they're probably the best team in 4A. Got a returning to state champions, playing very, very well, play a very tough schedule. Very, very good. Leo is a surprise there, and I think Jasper holding that 4th spot. This is the second week in a row they've held that 4th spot.
Looking at Class 5A now, you have the Cathedral Fighting Irish, clearly the number 1 school in that class right there. Number 2 is Fort Wayne Bishop Dwenger. Number 3 is Bloomington South Valparaiso coming in at number 4, and then the Decatur Central Hawks coming in at number 5.
Surprised me that Decatur Central is there at 5. Cathedral saw them play last week against Chittard. They are the real deal. They're big. They're handling Columbus North tonight very easily. They'll stay at number 5.
And, of course, you have Decatur Central tied right now with number 4A, number 2, Mooresville, as those two teams are playing at the moment. Then finally rounding it out with Class 6A. Clearly no surprise here. Center Grove is the number 1 team in the IndianaSRN football polls. They are now number 10 in the AP Top 25 nationally for that, the high school ranks in that regard. Number 2 is Merrillville, 3 is Carmel, 4 is Westfield, and Hamilton Southeastern number 5.
And I will say it every week, Centerville is the best team, Center Grove, best team in the state, and I think the best team in the Midwest. Very good ball club. Get to see them on week 9. They play a team called Cathedral. Could be a very interesting contest that week 9.
It definitely will be Cathedral versus Center Grove. That is always a good one. Of course, that is part of a home and away agreement that they have over the last 2 years. Center Grove getting the best of Cathedral just a year ago. Of course, Caden Curry, arguably probably the all-out favorite right now for Mr. Football in the state. He has still yet to decide where he will be committed, but IU, the Indiana Hoosiers, are among his final 4 commitment options.
I think he's got a will with every single school that wants him, and I think he's just going to spin and see what happens.
Of course, he could also be going down south to either Alabama or LSU as well. He has definitely had his pick of the crop. Talking about this game, though, here, Coach Keith Myers, you have Covenant Christian on top of Indianapolis Tindley in the 1A ranks right now here, 35-13 at the half. What does Tindley have to do to try and make this a competitive game going into the second half?
I think the first key is do not let Covenant Christian come out of the locker room and score right away, because now your back is against the wall big time. You got to get them 3 and out, and then try to score the first possession they get to make this a 35-20 game. But you know, the way Covenant has played offensively, and they have not used all their receivers quite yet. Very impressive in the first half, especially John Neighbors, who has not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, he definitely does. His last touchdown coming from a 2-yard scamper to put Covenant up 35-7, but the Tindley Tigers were able to at least answer with a 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Tyer Miller, and that brings us to the score of 35-13. The extra point was no good by Victor Roberts. So we go into the second half here in just a little bit, but before we do, we'll go ahead and take a quick timeout. When we come back, second half is coming at you next here on IndianaSRN.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
Okay.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
You sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
If you'd like to be an IHSAA official, you need to contact Sandra Walter at IHSAA.org/officials. Get involved with the men and women behind the stripes. A great way to stay in shape and to be a part of the game. Again, IHSAA.org/officials. Alongside Keith Myers, I'm Kurt Darling, but of course you've got the games here tonight, but of course, Keith, you have a lot more to talk about and a lot more to look forward to coming up next week here on the IndianaSRN family of networks.
Tuesday night we have a doubleheader for you. We got a boys soccer game, Park Tudor taking on Covenant Christian. That is a 5 o'clock start. Volleyball, Covenant Christian and Guerin Catholic. That's a Circle City conference matchup, 7:30 start volleyball. On Thursday, this is going to be a good one. Chittard taking on Heritage Christian Volleyball, 7 o'clock start. And then next Friday night, are you ready for this? Pendleton Heights at Mount Vernon, Heritage Christian, Covenant Christian, Tindley at Purdue Poly, LaPel at Traders Point, and South Newton taking on Frontier. All those right here on IndianaSRN. And next Saturday, it's a doubleheader soccer. North Putnam taking on Greencastle, boy-girl doubleheader, and St. Joe taking on Guerin Catholic girls at 1, and then Penn taking on the girls at 6. All on IndianaSRN. Check out our website at IndianaSRN. Follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Got an update here real quick, Kurt. 96-yard interception for touchdown gives Park Heritage the lead over Greencastle, 28-27.
Of course, Park Heritage, number 3 in the IndianaSRN football polls right there, having their way right now with Greencastle. They're over on the west side of the state. Well, Keith Myers, we have a second half of football here to get moving in just a little bit, and it'll be Covenant Christian starting the second half with the football.
Yep, and we'll see what Covenant Christian's going to do here very quickly here. As we get an updated score here, Traders Point now leads 34-0 over Frontier. They missed the extra point to make it 35.
Which means it will not be a running clock just yet.
Exactly right.
Meanwhile, we have quite a ways to go to get anywhere near that threshold at the moment. It is 35-13, but we have not hit the 35-point mark. Once again, just to recap for anybody who may not be familiar, the 35-point threshold is for the running clock, meaning that once a team is leading by at least a margin of 35 points, that is when the clock will start running, and it will not stop running unless the official says so. But bottom line is this: we have to get quite a ways, but once you hit that 35-point mark, that is it. It stays a running clock regardless of whether the losing team is able to get that back inside the 35-point mark.
And I will tell you, it's great. It's a great rule because of the sportsmanship and keep kids safe.
And it will be Tindley bringing it back to the 50, breaking the ankles of a defender, and then gets over the 45 and is down at the 43-yard line. An excellent run back there by Gavin Tindley to once again give Covenant Christian some excellent field position.
Yeah, you know, and here comes a player down on the field for Tindley.
And so a timeout on the field here as there's an injured player on the field at the moment. We'll take a timeout with them here. We'll be back in just a minute. Right back to the action here on Indiana SRN. Covenant Christian and Tindley as the Warriors open the second half here with the football. And the handoff is going to go right to John Neighbors again. He's going to keep getting the call here as he has the hot hand. 4 touchdowns already here this evening.
You know, the trap play has worked the whole entire night for the Warriors, and that front line has done a nice job of making some holes. But Neighbors can cut back left and right pretty quickly as well. Pretty impressive runner.
Hand is to Neighbors yet again. And this time Tindley has that well covered as you see Brian Stanfield immediately get into the backfield here and holding him to maybe a yard.
And it looks like here Covenant Christian is just going to run the ball here to run the clock to maybe shorten this game a little bit for Tindley as well. They need 5 for a first down.
And it was Tindley who was the masters of running the clock in the first half. They had the ball for about 6.5 to 7 minutes to open the second quarter. Flat going to pass this time. A wide open Brock Buckley gets past the defender and is forced out of bounds just shy of the 20-yard line.
And gets the first down. Buckley is just a horse.
Buckley with well over 100 yards receiving now tonight. He also has a touchdown. That was a 40-yard touchdown pass from earlier in the ball game. And if you want to see the replay, you can check that out at IndianaSRN on Twitter. Nick Lewis, our producer, doing a good job of pushing that out here tonight to get some recap of just how this game has gone so far here for the Warriors. Fake on the pitch, and it's Neighbors shedding a tackler and is brought down there by McGill.
And if you're watching at home, what Neighbors just did, he was being pulled, kept the legs going, spin the defender off of him, and nice job for the second defender come up to finish the tackle. But keep those legs moving, look always up. Don't put your head down.
Covenant is 5-1 all time against Tindley. Last year, Covenant beat Tindley pretty handedly. 56-0 was the final score, and that one almost a year to the day. And Tindley's only win against Covenant came back in 2019. As you see Neighbors plow it up the middle right there. That win for Tindley back in 2019 was a 24-19 affair.
Got an updated score for you, brought to you by our good friends at Morales Group. Park Heritage just scores again, 36. Park Heritage just scored 36-27 now. They just scored back-to-back touchdowns.
Flat fakes the handoff to Neighbors. Has his receiver and pushed out of bounds there was Jet Foster, the junior, who plays linebacker by trade but is also a halfback.
I tell you what, they have a lot of receivers, and they just use everybody on the team. You said 38 on the team?
38 players on this roster, and that is freshmen to seniors.
And that's a 1A school program. That's good numbers.
And that's the one thing about 1A football. There are not a lot of JV squads.
That's true.
In 1A football. Showing blitz here are the Tigers, but Neighbors is able to navigate that beautifully. He gets inside to the 5 and is tackled right there.
You think he wants touchdown number 5?
He just might want that. He could get touchdown number 5 from the 5-yard line as Alex Smith Jr. in on the tackle there. First and goal here for the Warriors. And the clock continues to move. And Tony Flatt again in the traditional pistol formation. Quick handoff to Neighbors. Tries to get to the outside. Punches back inside. Close. Fumbles the football. And it's picked up by Tindley. On the fumble recovery there for Tindley was Wellis Gupton, the sophomore.
Popped that ball right out. Hit the ball. The helmet hits the ball and pops right out.
That is the second turnover tonight by Covenant Christian, and that's also the second turnover to come in the red zone this evening. And it happened on their opening drive of the second half, just like it happened on their opening drive of the first half.
Spun here.
And just lost it.
Just lost the ball.
And it looked like it might have been Pinkston there with the forced fumble. And so now Covenant Christian winds about just over 4 minutes off the clock, and they come up dry. Richmond hands the ball off now to Hampton. Has some running room to the outside. And he gets out for first down yardage across the 15-yard line.
This is a weird game. I mean, this game has really been dominated by Covenant Christian. And yet Tindley just gets a turnover, gets a score, gets a run back of a touchdown. Never quit. Gotta love it.
Hampton on the call again. This time he's met right at the line of scrimmage there by Eli Carlson. But, of course, by my unofficial count right here, Keith Myers, I would say that Tindley has actually dominated time of possession in this ball game, even though they're down. Even though Covenant Christian, they've run more offensive plays, yet they are up. It is definitely a topsy-turvy statistical night here in this ball game. Richmond. Quick pass over to Glenn. Sheds some tacklers, gets another first down here for Tindley, and is out across the 40-yard line. Correction, the 30-yard line.
Well, you could be at Greencastle right now. We just got a score update again. Park Heritage 36, Greencastle 34. Greencastle just scores. Whew. That may be a 60-point. Jarrett Lewis and C.J. Benberry on that call. As we have an injury on the play, we'll take a timeout. We'll be back right after this.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
It's 9 o'clock here in Zionsville. Covenant Christian still holding the lead over at Tindley comfortably at the moment, but they have just committed a fumble, and Tindley is now moving the ball pretty consistently here inside of 7 minutes to go left in the third.
Yeah, you know, you look at the clock, and the possession has definitely been in Tindley's favor. Both teams now have had the ball in this third quarter. Clock will now run because of the injury timeout. It will run now. Here we go, 1st and 10.
Tindley remaining a thorn in the side of the defending 1A state champions here. Richmond has some time, looks along the sideline, and just long of his receiver there, Jaden Pinkston.
Nice defense by the secondary. You know, he beat two guys early in the game for a score of the 20-yard toss that he gathered down. So got some speed on the outside. We talked about that in our pregame.
And, you know, one receiver we haven't seen a whole lot of tonight is Donovan Gilder here for the Tindley Tigers. He's the leading receiver coming into the night. He had 5 receptions for 108 yards coming into the contest. Richmond fakes the handoff and quick pass over the flat, and it is incomplete. Looking for Pinkston. And so a quick 3rd down and 10 here, as Tindley was showing some momentum here, but now they have a little bit of work to do.
See if they'll go to the flat here. Again, all the players looking at their arms, got the armband, got the play. Motion.
Richmond sends Glenn in motion. Glenn looking to pass quickly over the middle and complete to his tight end. Joseph Glenn has come to play tonight for Tindley, and what a precision pass there by Dion Richmond, just over the defender and into the hands of his tight end.
Yeah. John Neighbors, they're trying to defend, looked like he was going for the interception to knock down the ball, and it just grazed his fingertips, and here we go, under 6 to play.
So Dion Richmond has shown his ability to throw the football here tonight. Doesn't put a whole lot of zip on it, but he is at least able to get it to his receiver. Ticking inside of 6 minutes here in the 3rd. Faking the handoff to Hampton. Richards on the keeper now, and Richmond will be pushed out of bounds, well back from where he fell forward to. Going to mark that at the 45.
And they're going to run the clock, said the contact happened before he went out of bounds.
And so that keeps the clock moving. But it is good for 2nd down and 5.
And I think right now you're in 4-down territory. You're in the game. The game right now, you're still in the game. You're at the 40.
And if they were to score here, it would still be a 3-score deficit for Tindley, but it would still be more manageable. Hampton hits his hole and keeps his legs moving and falls forward for a minimal gain, maybe 3. Make it an official 2-yard gain. And this is a Tindley squad that averages about 177 rushing yards per contest. They have certainly been around that average here tonight between the rushing yards of Richmond, Miller, and also Hampton. High snap. Richmond trying to get the ball away quickly. Instead, just a little bit quicker there was the defense of Covenant Christian. And in on the sack was Thomas. Cole Thomas coming in to play some defensive line here tonight.
Saved the day there, didn't he? I mean, they were at 3rd and 3. Now they are going to be 4th and 10. And they will be going for it.
Of course, they've got Cole Thomas playing some defensive end right now, as R.L. Weichart is not in the ball game right now, and Trey Replogle is a healthy scratch here tonight.
Heritage Christian now leads Cecina with 4 minutes to play, 20-7.
Tindley again taking their time. Richmond feeling the pressure, nearly intercepted. They're going to call that a catch. It is intercepted.
Wow.
What a catch there. Carter Bell, his 2nd interception of the night. He had one earlier tonight and now has another.
Watch this.
As we will get a replay here in just a little bit, but man, What a play by Bell. Just coming down for it. It looked like Richmond was looking for Miller on that play. Instead, Bell is able to play the underthrown ball, and the fumble by Neighbors is negated by the interception from Bell. And Neighbors will keep the ball again here and get it out past the 30.
And to be honest with you, if you're going to play that kind of game, this is what you want to do, because now you want to run the clock out to zeros, and you're still up 35-13 at the end of one. So it didn't really hurt you. That play didn't really hurt you. And I tell you what, it was a pretty good catch. I'd like to see the replay one more time, but they called it a good catch. That's pretty impressive.
We'll get that when we have another stoppage of play here as Neighbors again on the call. He has been the primary back tonight, and not a whole lot of else seen from other players here for Covenant Christian at the moment as Neighbors gets it out to about third and manageable.
And we keep giving you updates. Final score here, Trader Point wins 40-0. Here's the interception. And I don't know, Kurt.
No replay
in high school football.
It is an interception. But a good win for Traders Point there, coming off of that loss to Park Tudor just a week ago. Neighbors turns the corner, gets it across midfield, and is down at the 45. And Carter Bell on that interception, he hadn't contributed a whole lot on defense throughout the majority of this season so far. We've only played 4 games. He had 8 tackles, and that was it coming into this contest, and no interceptions. He now has 2 on the night. Tony Flatt in the pistol formation. Has some time to throw. Looking long to the end zone. Brock Buckley goes up for it, and it just bounces off of his hands and falls incomplete. Inside 2 minutes now left in this third quarter. And there is a flag on the play. It may be illegal contact here on. No, it's an ineligible downfield on Covenant Christian. And then you have pass interference as well on Covenant Christian.
Wow.
So you're going to have Tindley has the option to take either penalty.
I take the pass interference.
Which there definitely are, because that's going to be 15 yards from the spot of the foul, or from the previous spot, rather. So it looked like Brock Buckley got a little too handsy there with his defender. And now they were at the 45. That will now back them up, back onto their own side of the football field.
They shot themselves in the foot right here.
So it'll be Tindley taking the pass interference call, and that backs them up to the 40-yard line. With inside 2 minutes left to go.
First and 25. Good call by our producer there.
Flatt with the quick throw, hits Bell in stride, and he gets it back to midfield, and that is where they'll spot it. Of course, Carter Bell plays the backup role to Will Lyons here on this squad. Haven't seen a lot of Will Lyons tonight. It's only really been Brock Buckley as well as Carter Bell and maybe a couple handful receptions from Munoz and Tyndall. Tony Flatt awaits the snap. Again looking for the quick pass and just overthrows Neighbors, incomplete.
Yeah, it looks like they were going to go to the sideline there. So now will be third down. Tindley not breaking here.
They are certainly bending, but not quite breaking. And this is a Tindley squad against South Decatur in that win. They scored 24 points in the second quarter, which is certainly an immaculate amount. And the pass just a little long there for Gavin Tyndall. 2 incomplete passes in a row there for Flatt, and now it seems that Covenant Christian has been caught just a little flat, and they're going to see their first punt of the night. And now punting the ball away here will be for Covenant Christian will be Harrison Laurie, who's handled the punting duties all season long. He's had 7 punts, but he's only averaging 18 yards. But he certainly gets a good boot into that one, and it is fielded short by Tindley, and they are going to be tackled right there back in plus territory. They get the punt yardage back, and on the return was Darian Davis. And here, once again, Tindley is showing themselves to have an opportunity to try and cut into this lead of Covenant.
And that was a high snap, and we saw him warming up at halftime. Got a late flag on the play.
And it's a holding call on Tindley, so that will back them up 10 yards from the spot of the foul. As the official will walk it back across midfield to Tindley's own 44-yard line.
Again, next week, Tindley, Covenant Christian plays Heritage Christian next week. That is here at Zionsville Middle School West.
And you can also catch that game right here on IndianaSRN. Myself and Sean Kroll will be on the call of that ball game. Dion Richmond hands the ball off to Hampton, has a good hole, gets back the penalty yardage, and then some, keeps going down to the 35-yard line. A 25-yard scamper there for Hampton.
I tell you what, he hits the hole, and he hits you before you hit him. Nice little bounced off some players. Nice job.
Hampton pushing 100 yards rushing here tonight. He had 231 yards all season long coming into the ball game.
He's just a junior.
Standing all of 5'7".
Yeah.
But a stocky 181 pounds. Richmond rolls to his right. Off-balance throw and through the arms of Miller, incomplete. 2nd down and 10 here for Tindley. And this is the other thing you got to think about here, Keith, is the fact that Tindley, they keep showing signs of being able to move it down the field, but time is running out for them to actually be able to cash in on these possessions.
Yeah, you know, this could possibly be the last play of the third quarter, and then, you know, Covenant gets a consistently drive that takes some time off the clock. You might have just ran out of time.
Give is to Hampton, and he is swallowed up immediately by the defensive line of Covenant Christian.
But this is a Tindley team that you mentioned scored 24 points in a half, in a half. So they can't score. This is the end of the third quarter, though.
And with that, we go to quarter number 4. Back in a minute here on IndianaSRN. I need to get some read.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Bertner Electric, which has been serving the Indianapolis area since 1986. We are family owned and operated, and we take pride in our customer service and put our customers first. Fully licensed and insured, we offer 24-hour emergency service. No job is too small either. Call us today for all of your electrical needs at 317-773-7663. Tindley's certainly going to be needing some electricity here going into quarter number 4. Alongside Keith Myers, I'm Kurt Darling. 12 minutes of football left to be played here, Keith.
The key here is time of possession in this quarter. if you're Covenant Christian right now, you want to get them out of here so they can punt to you, and then you want to at least maintain the clock. This may be, though, 4-down territory again for Tindley.
3rd down and 9. Ball is at the Covenant Christian 39-yard line. Richmond has to roll to his right as he feels the pressure, and incomplete, looking for Miller, and they're not going to throw a flag right there.
No, because he slid and the defender came across. That's a good no call.
Still, it is 4th down now, and as you said, Keith, it is 4-down territory here for Tindley, and at this point, certainly has to be, as you've got to get points on the board. Otherwise, you risk Covenant running away with this one. Richmond again in the gun.
Watch the flat.
Has to get rid of it. Finds Hampton. Shakes a tackler. Trying to get to the 1st down yardage, but he does not, and it is a turnover on downs. Covenant Christian will take over at the 35-yard line on their own side of the football field. And believe it or not, Keith, interesting stat here, Covenant Christian scored in each of the first 2 quarters. They went scoreless in that entirety of that third quarter.
Exactly. Hey, here's a barn burner for you. Out on the west side of Indianapolis, it's just this with 11 minutes to play, 42-40 Park Heritage over Greencastle, 11 minutes to play, 82 points scored in that game tonight.
You got to love that game.
That game is still being played.
Of course, we got a good matchup going on right here as Covenant tries to put Tindley away. Long pass, complete to his receiver from Tony Flatt, and he has Gavin Tyndall for his longest catch of the night, and a big 1st down into plus territory.
That's a great play. I don't know why you throw that ball now, but that's a great play and a great catch.
And we'll take the look at the replay right here. As Tyndall coming from the slot.
Boy, look at the air underneath that ball.
And he runs a beautiful flag route there, does Tyndall. And it gets them right to the 40-yard line. Covenant wasting no time, though. And the handoff now is to Neighbors again.
Yep.
And we have a injury on the field right now as you see a Tindley Tiger down on the football field. We'll go ahead and take a timeout here on IndianaSRN.
How does a good man become even better? By working out? Or by working his way up the corporate ladder? By changing his diet? Or by changing his style? By traveling the world? Or by staying perfectly still? For 300 years, we've helped good men become the best versions of themselves through a dedicated fraternity and by taking an oath to live a life of integrity, service, and brotherly love. Men who are as committed to each other and their families as they are to our noble cause. In the end, we don't just make men better, we make them Masons. Not just a man, a Mason.
11:02 left to go here in this ball game, and the Tindley player is still down on the field as you see the Covenant players taking a knee in respect as the training staff is still working on the down Tindley player. We can't see who it is at the moment, but definitely hoping that he is okay as the training staff continues to work on him. Of course, taking a look ahead next week, as we've mentioned before, Covenant Christian, they're going to get right back into it. They take on crosstown rival Heritage Christian out of the Circle City Conference. That'll be a big matchup right there. Independent versus the Circle City Conference. As we take a look now at who it is, it looks like it is Jeffrey Pinkston who is down. And if that is if it looks like he's not going to be able to return for the rest of the game, that's a pretty big loss there on the defensive line for the Tigers.
Yeah, Penskin has done a great job on the offensive line and defensive line, and now it looks like he's going to be shaken up, and hope he does well and recovers well.
So coming in to replace him will but likely be the freshman, number 57, Carl Lee, who has definitely had some limited plays with the first team off defense here this season. And now a flag on the play and a false start again by Cole Thomas.
That's the second time Cole Thomas has went on one and everybody else was supposed to wait and go on two.
So that'll back them up 5 yards here and keep things going as the clock again continues to roll inside of 11 minutes. Flat back to pass. Quickly gets it away. And a wheel route to Tindley. Gets to the 25-yard line. And they'll blow the play dead.
I like the tackle and in the forward roll. I like that.
And so they'll likely give them forward progress here. They'll mark the ball at the 30-yard line.
Wow. 30 and what, an inch?
And so it's still not quite a first down. But still, nonetheless, getting the penalty yardage back and then some, as they literally have to push it forward maybe a couple inches to get the first down. Low snap to Flat. Neighbors gets that inch and a lot more. Staying on his feet, gets inside the 25. And as you probably heard from the PA announcer right there, John Neighbors, he had 200-yard rushing games. Neighbors now has 200 rushing yards on the night. So he's done 200-yard rushing games in one night here this evening, and he has also accounted for 4 touchdowns.
I think John Neighbors is going to deserve a rest tomorrow.
He has certainly earned his keep. Of course, Coach Cottle describing John Neighbors simply as yoked, because he thinks he spends a little too much time in the weight room. And showing his strength right here, Neighbors gets inside the 10-yard line.
The other thing that John Neighbors has done, 2 fumbles tonight. So, you've done really well, but he will be disappointed because he had 2 fumbles.
But you also still talk about the vast improvement over last year for John Neighbors. Keep in mind, all year long last year, John Neighbors only had 1 carry for -2 yards.
Yeah, but you got to realize who else there was in the backfield then.
Oh, yeah. You had a bunch
guy
of other
named Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Nevertheless, next man up now, and he has certainly been playing well here as Neighbors dives right into the end zone again. Not quite. He gets tackled out at about the 5-yard line.
Neighbors wrestled down after a gain of 5 on the play.
And so that was a gain of 5 yards. It'll be another second down and goal here for Covenant Christian. That is inside the 5-yard line. So they'll mark him down at about the 4. Neighbors, again, immediately behind Flat. They hand it to him again, looking for touchdown number 5, but instead, the defensive line of Tindley is right there as Brian Stanfield gets the tackle in the backfield for a loss.
Clock is now the enemy of Tindley.
And keep in mind, it has been their style all game long to kind of take their time. If they get the ball back here, they're not going to have a lot of time to waste.
Yeah, they'll have to go hurry up offense a little bit.
Liscombe in motion, and they draw Tindley offsides.
Offsides on the defense.
And so this will be half the distance to the goal. So this will put them at the 2-yard line.
Makes it a little bit easier for you, right?
But now you see Brock Buckley checking into the ball game here. He already has a touchdown tonight. the only passing touchdown for Covenant this evening. The rest have all come from John Neighbors on the ground.
Pretty nice crowd on hand tonight, too. You could hear the crowd tonight.
Neighbors on the give. Tries to turn the corner, has some blocking, dives into the end zone, and he is in. Touchdown number 5 for Jonathan Neighbors. And that is a new school record for touchdowns in a single game for Covenant Christian. John Neighbors, 5 touchdowns.
That's pretty impressive.
And what makes that even more impressive is that he's doing that now after the team went 15-0 last year and won a state championship and didn't do that at all during any game last season.
And he's a junior.
And he is a junior nonetheless. An impressive night for John Neighbors as Munoz puts it through the uprights. 42-13. We'll take a break here on Indiana SRN.
You want a career?
Do we really need it?
Yes.
It is.
Gives us something to talk about, too.
Our recap will go very quickly when
Yes.
we record it. We got to record our recap. Just go back. Okay.
7:07 now left in the ball game here on Indiana SRN. Alongside Keith Myers, I'm Kurt Darling, and that was certainly an impressive run there, even though he went up standing up. Touchdown number 5 for John Neighbors, a school record for touchdowns in a single game.
I just wish I had 5 touchdowns in my whole entire career. Look at this. Nice blocking, and he just pushed it in there. And over 220 yards of rushing right now.
And so Neighbors with touchdown number 5 right there. On the year now, he has 13 touchdowns. He had 8 coming into the ball game. He has now matched his season total by almost 2/3 with that total right there. The kickoff takes a hop into the hands of Hampton, and he gets pushed out of play at around maybe the 20, the 30-yard line or so. So Tindley has exactly 7 minutes to work with here. It is 42-13, and needless to say, Covenant has taken an even more comfortable lead here at the moment, but Tindley still certainly has shown signs of their ability to at least get downfield. It's a matter of if they actually are able to at least muster some sort of moral spirit here to at least get it down the field and salvage what they can.
Yeah, they now the clock is way in the favor of Covenant Christian, and we'll see what kind of offense Tindley will have. A turnover here could really cause havoc.
And now you see Miller in at quarterback again. After it had been Richmond for a while, we saw Miller for a few series in the second quarter, and it was pretty effective for the most part for Tindley. They fake the handoff to Hampton, and Miller tries to get around the defender there, and it goes out of play, as you saw him get around Tyndall there. And another first down, but it stops the clock at 6:48 as he ran out of play.
First down run there by the Tigers. Pushed out of bounds by Munoz.
And Tyre Miller has certainly shown his ability to at least come in and make plays happen whenever they've needed him to.
Yeah, the Wildcats definitely one of the positives that the Tindley Tigers have.
Faking the handoff again. Miller tries to roll out to his left. Instead, he tucks it and runs, gets more first down yardage, and is tackled at about the 40. They will stop the clock again. So interesting plays here by Miller to not only get decent amounts of yards, but able to get out of bounds and stop the clock.
Yeah, and it looks like he was going to be stopped. And now they run the clock once again.
And so they will run the clock. He was tackled in play. They had to stop the clock to move the chains. And Tindley again taking their time. Not a lot of time that they have left to waste here. Miller hands the ball off to Hampton. And he plunges forward for a gain of about 4. Still some pretty good resolve from the Tindley Tigers, in spite of the fact that this one's probably just a little bit out of reach at the moment. Of course, Covenant Christian, as we've talked about a couple times here tonight, only started a football program just 6 years ago. Back in 2015 was when they played their first IHSAA sanctioned season. They played a singular game. As you see Hampton go all the way to the end zone for a touchdown for Tindley. And so that'll be Hampton's first rushing touchdown of the night after Pinkston had a receiving touchdown earlier this evening.
And if anything, Covenant Christian will learn that they really, outside the speed that Tindley has outside, has really cost them, because every touchdown they have scored tonight has been from that wide side. The only thing that hurts Tindley right now, 5 minutes left in the ballgame.
Just not a whole lot of time left to work with here, as you see Tindley now looking to go for the 2-point conversion. Tyre Miller back in the gun. And Miller kind of having some miscommunication there with Glenn as he pitches it to Hampton, and Hampton is swarmed before he gets to the end zone, and the conversion is unsuccessful. 42-19 with 5 minutes left to go here in this ball game. We'll be back in just a few minutes. It was about a 40-yard scamper there by Davion Hampton to get his 5th rushing touchdown of the season on that last drive for Tindley. That cuts it to a 42-19 deficit here for the school out of Indianapolis, but Covenant Christian still has this thing well in hand as we take a look at the pitch here from Miller.
And great field block down the field by the whole entire line. Held their block, pushed him down the field, and as we say, 42-19. It's not over until the fat lady sings. And she might be warming up, but she's not singing yet.
Definitely not, as Covenant Christian has 5 minutes to work with here. They can probably try and run the clock out as best they can.
Onside kick here.
As it looks like Tindley just might attempt an onside kick. And instead, they boot it away. And it's fielded there by Flatt, and he will take a knee at about the 22-yard line.
Now, I'm telling you what, that's a pretty smart play from the senior. Get good field position. You get to 22, 23-yard line. You have your offense, and you know what you're going to do. And everybody in the whole entire facility knows who's going to get the ball the next 4, 5, 6 plays. But you got to get positive yards.
Yes, you do, as you have Brock Buckley back into the ball game now. He has certainly had a big night catching the ball.
You know, Casey Pierce, the guy who loves sports, excited about this game, watching this game with us tonight.
Well, now tonight, though, it looks like you have a New face at running back here. And the handoff goes up the gut, and a violent tackle there. As you see, it appears that is Ronald Weichert. R.L. Weichert, number 24, getting the call there. And that is something new right there because he has not recorded a carry at all this season.
And you just got called for holding.
And so that'll back Covenant back up. Nonetheless, it will keep the clock running once they get the ball spotted and everything reset. Tindley still has all 3 of their timeouts. As now they back the ball up to just inside the 20. Flat, looking to pass, goes over the middle and complete to his receiver. And on the catch there was Daniel Shin, the sophomore, as you start to see some second-team guys getting some reps here with the first-team offense late in this ball game. Daniel Shin, whose primary role is the backup to Will Lyons as the cornerback on defense. Weichert back in the backfield. Flat back to pass, steps up into the pocket and instead corralled. No, he gets out of the pocket.
How did that happen?
Finds his receiver, and what a play by Tony Flat as he's finally brought down. On the catch there was Daniel Shin. Once again, it looked like Tony Flat had been brought down for a sack. He evades the pressure, and what a play there to Shin to get the first down and keep this drive moving.
He was Houdini. Look at this. Watch this.
He had me fooled.
I thought he was down right here. And he pops right back out of that. Holy smokes.
And then Shin is wide open to get the first down and get to near midfield. Clock continues to run, closer to 3 minutes now. First down and 10. Handoff is to Weichert, and he is immediately corralled in the backfield for a loss. And a timeout is going to be called here by Tindley. And so Jeremiah Dowdell is also getting some calls here, as it looks like he's been the one getting the last few ones. It's hard to see the some of the numbers here on these jerseys here for Covenant Christian.
Black on green does not work very well, does it? Don't forget to join us all week long. Lots of games in store for you next week on IndianaSRN. Don't forget to follow us at IndianaSRN on Twitter. Recapping score very quickly. Covenant Christian scored at the 6:01 mark in the first quarter. 3:11 in the first quarter made it 14-0. 10 seconds left in the first quarter made it 21-0. John Neighbors at that time had 3 touchdowns. In the second quarter at the 5:27 mark it was 21-7 Covenant Christian. 3-minute mark it was 28-7. The 5th touchdown for Neighbors just occurred to make the score 42-13, and now it's 42-19 with 2:59 to play in this fourth quarter.
A couple other score updates here for you. Brownsburg defeats Fishers 39-21 in that ball game. Roncalli is the big winner tonight over Guerin Catholic, 45-21 in that contest, and Danville beats Tri-West 14-7 as you see Dowdell again on the call and tries to get back to the original line of scrimmage, but nonetheless keeps the clock moving. It'll be third down.
You're almost to the point. If Tindley doesn't call any more timeouts with a first down, you could almost run the clock out at the 2-minute mark.
Considering that Tindley does not burn any more of their 2 timeouts remaining.
Correct here.
Ball at the 46. Flat takes the low snap, has some time, and looks over the middle, trying to hit Shin once again, and it falls incomplete, stopping the clock. And again, at this point, probably just trying to get some of the second-team guys some first-team reps here in in-game situations.
Yeah, because you never know during the tournament. You may need your third, fourth guy. Step up.
But of course, as we talked about earlier, Covenant started this football program back in 2015. And talking to Coach Eric Cottle, the reason why they've been able to be so successful in such a short amount of time, he credits culture. And he credits that culture to the fact that Larry McWhorter, who was the first football coach for Covenant Christian, was able to build such a good culture. As there's a big pitch and catch by Trey Flatt, and he has his receiver there. It looks like that's Brian Metcalf. Brylan Metcalf, the sophomore, weighing all of 113 pounds, getting a reception there. And that keeps the drive moving as they tick inside of a minute. But it's part of this culture that we've been talking about here that was started by Larry McWhorter, according to head coach Eric Cottle, that has ballooned this roster of Covenant Christian players from 18 just a few years ago to 38. They've even had transfers come into this program from schools like Brownsburg, Avon, Ben Davis, and even Western Boone to come play at this school.
That's pretty. Larry McWhorter has done a nice job, did a nice job with this program.
And Dowdell carries the ball to about the 20-yard line. And now 70 seconds remain in this ball game. And once again, Covenant Christian going to move to 4-1 on the season, extending their win streak to 4 games after that opening season loss to Speedway back on August 20th. As they head to take on Heritage Christian this coming Friday, right here at Zionsville West Middle School. Meanwhile, go ahead, Keith.
Tindley has their rival game next week as they will play Purdue Poly next week.
As Trey Flatt, well, now they look who they brought in there to take a knee. That was Ethan Sparks lining up under center to take the knee.
Hey, Ethan, here you go.
And with that, the clock will run out, and that will do it. Covenant Christian moving to 4-1 on the season. They beat the Tigers of Tindley 42-19. As the Tigers of Tindley, they will take on Purdue Polytechnic. That game will be going at 7 o'clock next week. But right here on IndianaSRN, you can catch the rivalry game, Heritage Christian versus Covenant Christian. That game will be right here on IndianaSRN. Myself and Sean Kroll will be on the call. Keith Myers, where are you at next week?
Next week, I will have this Tindley ball game against Purdue Poly, the Battle of the Bucket. It's first thing that they have divided with both of these charter schools. Should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. It's at Thomas Carr Howell, where I used to go to school. So going to be a lot of fun. Be a good ball game. Great games on tap next week. If you love football, go to IndianaSRN and watch the Greencastle Park Heritage last 2 minutes. You won't be disappointed, I guarantee you.
Indeed you won't. Keith Myers, it's been a pleasure tonight, my friend.
Thank you.
For all of us here at IndianaSRN, for Ben Wood on the camera, for Nick Lewis on the ones and twos, for Keith Myers, I'm Kurt Darling saying so long till next time. This broadcast has been copyrighted by IndianaSRN and the Indiana High School Athletic Association for the private use of our audience. The use of pictures, videos, and audio without the expressed written consent of the IHSAA is strictly prohibited. Final score once again, 42-19. I'm Kurt Darling saying so long till next time. You've been watching IHSAA football on IndianaSRN. So long, everybody.